never get where he wanted to go.
And when the stars come out in August, they'll be the king.
I'm very attracted to you.
You're in partnership with JR. Now, did you bring me out here for some kind of romantic romp? Is there something that he's...
Ordinary by comparison and almost bare. I think he is destined to become a big star, and soon Michael Keaton will be in a comedy about the underworld, co-starring with NBC Saturday Night Live's Joe Piscopo. Now that one should be wild. As for Mr. Ma, meanwhile, it's more like reruns of My Mother the Car. I'm Jeffrey Lyons, News Scene 2.
And he didn't like that one either. No. That's our report for 6 NBC Nightly News, isn't it?
This is the taste. This is the test. Pepsi versus Coke, the Pepsi Challenge. And all across America, more people pick Pepsi. Time after time after time.
Oh, what a time. It's gonna be Pepsi now. The winning taste is Pepsi. It's gonna be Pepsi now. Taste what Pepsi's giving. It's gonna be Pepsi now.
Of all the economy cars in America, many have front-wheel drive traction. But of all those front-wheel drive cars, only these 4 have a flat engine profile with an extremely low center of gravity for outstanding handling and traction. And every single one of them is a Subaru.
See the yellow pages for your local Baltimore, Annapolis area Subaru dealers.
Of the top 5 banks in Maryland, only one has a MasterCard without the out-of-state fee. It's Union Trust Bank, and it's as simple as that.
WJZ-TV, Channel 13, Baltimore.
The following is a presentation of ABC Sports. In 1984, from Sarajevo, Yugoslavia to Los Angeles, California, the ABC Olympic tradition continues.
October 79, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Birds against the Bucks. World Series. Birds leading 3-1. Jim Rucka, surprise starter for the Bucks. Good early innings, striking out Kenny Singleton. Chuck Tanner, troubled Bucks manager. Bert Blyleven, the relief pitching hero, getting the final out on that easy fly ball to left field. That made it 3-2, the Birds still in the lead. Game number 6, Eddie Murray at bat, top of the first. Eddie still mired in a slump against Candelaria. Easy ground ball. Third baseman touches the bag, double play. Palmer pitched very well in this game for the Birds, but was bothered by the uncertain fielding of center fielder Al Bumbry. Look at that. And so, to Colby coming on in relief. What a superb year he had. Strikes out Doug DeCinces, and now it was 3 games apiece. Game 7. Rich Dower at the plate. Home is off Jim Bibby. The Birds took a 1-0 lead. But inevitably, the man who was the leader of the Pittsburgh family, Willie Stargell, would strike back, and he did, with Robinson on base. A home run against Scotty McGregor. And once again, the Bucks would call on the incredible Colby, who wound it up with a Pittsburgh World Series victory as he got Pat Kelly to fly out to center fielder Marino. Jubilation ensued, of course. The Bucks went crazy. The family had won. Now, the question is, on this very day, can the Phillies recapture the magic that suddenly the Bucks showed in 1979? That's the real story today. ABC Sports presents the World Series. Live from Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's game number 5, the Orioles against the Phils. Yesterday, the hitting hero, Rich Dower, 3 hits. This single driving in the 5th and final run for the Birds. First bullpen shown again. First, it was the right-hander, Sammy Stewart, winding it up the left-hander, Tippy Martinez. So, if the Birds can win today, they have clinched the World Series right here in Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And they will have won that trophy. We're ready for Game 5.
Here's how we got to where we are today in the 1983 World Series. Game 1 won by the Phillies. Games 2, 3, and 4 won by the Birds. Remaining games, Game 5 today. If the Birds win, they clinch it. If not, open day tomorrow. Back to Baltimore Tuesday, and Wednesday too, if necessary. In the meantime, history bespeaks the fact that the Phils haven't lost yet. Look at the record. 25. The Bucks over the Senators, trailing 3-1. 58, the Yanks over the Braves. 68, Tigers over the Cardinals. 79, the Pirates over the Orioles. So, hello again, everyone. It's good to have you with us here in Veterans Stadium for Game 5 of the series. And a couple of quick notes. Lescano injured, so Pete Rose will be in right field today. Tony Perez at first base, maybe more power for the Phillies. And in the meantime, a quick look at the pitching matchups. Going for the Birds, the usually impeccable southpaw Scotty McGregor, though he did lose the first game. And for the Phils, the hard-throwing rookie from Prairie View A&M, Charles Hudson, second time around for him. But remembering baseball history, we'll be back with a couple of memorable Orioles of '79 in a moment.
This ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by Beneficial Finance, a leader with over $2 billion in second mortgage loans to families like yours. Now that's Beneficial Finance. And by Wendy's. You want something better. You're Wendy's kind of people.
Yes, I'd like a hamburger with extra tomatoes, no pickle, no onion,
Step aside.
Step aside?
Step aside.
Please, step aside.
Step aside.
Kindly step aside.
Sir, a step aside.
At some hamburger places, when you order special toppings, they say you'll have to wait.
Sir.
And could you...
Step aside.
At Wendy's, you can order your hamburger with whatever toppings you want and get it without ever having to step aside. You want something better. You're Wendy's kind of people.
In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell started a communications revolution.
Watson, come here. I want you. Watson, 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 Watson.
Watson and Watson.
Today, there's a new revolution from AT&T Information Systems.
Glad you could join us, Mr. Watson.
We still on for lunch, Watson?
Goodbye for now, Watson.
AT&T Information Systems.
Rick, any memories haunting you about what happened in �79?
It was the first thing that crossed my mind after we won the game yesterday was here we are in the same position we were in 1979. We thought that at least 1 out of 3 was going to be easy, but I think Pittsburgh had something else in mind. They came back awfully tough, awfully strong. They didn't make any mistakes those last 3 games, and we did, and they ended up winning the World Series, and we all had to live with that for about 4 years. So now we're ready to make our amends.
Why will this time be different?
Well, I think that it'll be different because we're aware of the fact that we're very capable of losing 3 games in a row if we don't play good, hard, sound, fundamental baseball. And I don't think anybody was over-elated yesterday about the fact that we won our 3rd game. And so we just kind of more or less had the same attitude that we did after Game 1 and the same attitude after Game 2 and 3. We were just got to say we got to go out there and play hard and win them 1 at a time, and today that's exactly what we'll do.
That was Rick Dempsey just moments ago. Now the man who led Rick in that World Series, manager, then Earl Weaver.
Howard, that was an embarrassing feeling, but more than the embarrassment of
what happened in the 1979 series was the hurt that went along with it. We needed one ball game to become champions of the world, and we weren't able to produce that victory. And again, I say, that hurt me as much as anything that happened to me in Baltimore during the 15 years that I was there.
And especially when you had waiting in the wings Mike Flanagan, Cy Young Award winner Jim Palmer, and finally Scotty McGregor.
Our pitching couldn't have been set up better that year, and Joe Altobelli's pitching is set up just the way he wants it this year. Everybody will be going on the proper amount of rest, and there's just no explaining it. In 1979, in the last 3 games, we only got 2 runs. We know that Baltimore will need more than 2 runs to clinch this, and that was 2 runs in the final 3 games.
Don't you have a deep inner wish to be down there now so that you could make personal amends?
No, I don't, Howard. Believe it or not, what Joe Altobelli had to go throughout a 162-game schedule is something that I don't think I could have pushed myself to do. Nobody could have done it better than Joe Altobelli did so far this year. He's got the chance to become a world champion, and he deserves it.
Let's take a look at the Phils.
Well, the Phils really have to do this. They have to forget about winning 3 games, 3-game winning streak. What they have to do is win today's game, which will set up the 6th game in Baltimore.
Just what Pete Rose said. Thank you very much, Earl. Be an interesting contest. Coming up in just a moment, Al Michaels and, of course, Reggie Jackson, live from Veterans Stadium.
You're all set, sir.
Good time.
You're watching a ticket agent's class at the American Airlines Learning Center. Here we taught Debbie Bridges the fastest way to get you through the airport with our one-stop check-in. Now she can give you boarding passes for all your flights at once.
Here, let me.
But some things we didn't have to teach her.
Now smile.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
You know, repairs cost so much. It's terrific you're trying to be handy.
What do you mean trying? Peerless makes it easy to be handy. I'm going to hook up this do-it-yourself Peerless faucet, and these are the only tools I'm going to use. Watch. Just insert the flexible copper tubing and turn the special tightener by hand. Bend the tubing by hand, then snap the quick connectors by hand. No tools, and it's finished in a snap.
Water!
And making it easy to be handy, Peerless is peerless.
Do you have anything in aviation?
The Army's most technical training
Are there any openings in communications?
is also the Army's most popular training.
I'd really like computers.
So it pays to have a reservation.
Electronics.
If you qualify, you can get a guaranteed reservation for the training you want up to 12 months in advance, even if you're still in high school.
All that you can be.
We'll see you after graduation.
It's great.
Congratulations.
Just a couple of thoughts as we approach the start of game number 5 today. Isn't it amazing how everything gets tremendously magnified in a World Series? We've played 4 games, and all of a sudden the mood here today and what people are talking about, Baltimore has by far the best organization in baseball. We told you the Phillies were too old. Joe Altobelli is 10 times the genius that Paul Owens is, all on the basis of a 3-1 lead. Think about one swing of the bat, though. What if Joe Morgan hits a home run instead of lines out yesterday to end the game? Phillies win, we're tied 2-2. The tone is entirely different. So it's amazing how things get triply magnified. Also, another thought, too. You've heard about teams that are just happy to be here. The players will never admit that after winning the playoffs, that they're just happy to be in the World Series until about December when they think back retrospectively. 2 cases in point in recent years. Kansas City, just happy to be there in 80. Milwaukee, to an extent, just happy to be there in 82, their first taste. Don't ever believe the Phillies will be happy that they'll consider this a successful season if they don't win. Too many of them have been here before. As we approach game 5, let's get the feeling down on the field, the mood there from Reggie Jackson. Reg?
Well, there's certainly enough pressure, enough tension that's being felt down here on the field in front of 65,000 people, Al. The thing I'd like to say is what you just got done saying about the Philadelphia Phillies. they have put together a ball club that you expect to win with the kind of personnel and the kind of names that they have on the field and put on the field in 1983. The Baltimore Orioles have come here today just like they have every other day, and all they have in the way they've done in 1983 in a very workmanlike fashion. That's the feeling I got when I went to their clubhouse. When I went over into the Philadelphia Philly clubhouse, a little more tension there. I think they finally realized that they are playing an outstanding baseball team. The question I want to ask today, will Tony Perez, Joe Morgan, Pete Rose, and Mike Schmidt finally live up to the reputations in the 1983 World Series that they've earned over the past 15 seasons? Let's watch.
Reggie, that's a question on the minds of a lot of folks, especially Mike Schmidt, who's 1 for 16, having a terrible series. Howard talked to him earlier, asked him when he thought he'd bust out of it.
Hopefully my first at-bat today, Howard. I guess we're down to the point where you almost have to hit. You know, you have your early at-bats in the World Series knowing that you're going to get 15 or 20 of them, and when you haven't contributed up to those 15, you get down to where your back's against the wall, and I sort of feel like I have to hit now to get this team rolling. The other team's up 3-1 on us, and the middle of their batting order really hasn't done any damage at all. It's just a segment of the season, Howard. It happens to be the last 7 days, the last week of the season, but teams go through these periods, and we just happen to be doing it in the World Series. We still have life. I've oftentimes said about baseball that unlike basketball and football, the other team can't go into the four corners on us and run out the clock. They have to get us out 27 times without us having more runs than they do.
Dad, look at this one.
Come see the Olympics in a whole new way. Come discover stamp collecting and salute women in the Olympics.
I hope that's me one day.
Bet it will be. So come to the post office and start your collection with the 1984 Olympic Series featuring women.
Delicious Campbell's soup is perfect for a lunch date. Campbell's tomato soup has more vitamin C per calorie than apples, corn, or peaches. Besides, it's a nice way to warm up to someone.
Want to see my baseball cards? Why don't we just have some more soup?
If you have important things you want to do right now, this message could be beneficial.
Lending money is what we do.
Loans to homeowners up to $200,000.
Now that's beneficial. Making payments easy for you.
In most cases, you'll have an answer within 48 hours.
Now that's beneficial. Important things you want to do. We'll work to make it easy for you. Making people's dreams come true.
See us. Check our lower rates for homeowners.
Now that's beneficial.
Good afternoon. I'm Jim Lampley in New York. I apologize in advance for the laryngitis. Let's quickly get up to date on everything which has happened so far in the NFL. Miami beat the Jets 32-14. Todd again threw 5 interceptions. The Dolphins will stay 1 game back of the AFC East leader, which probably will be Buffalo. Buffalo leading Baltimore 30-7 in the 4th quarter. The Bills will rise to 5-2 and take over sole AFC East lead. New England beat San Diego 37-21. San Diego still on the losing side of the ledger at 3-4, as is New England. Pittsburgh beat Cleveland 44-17. Cleveland still has never won a game in Three Rivers Stadium, and Pittsburgh takes over the AFC Central lead. Minnesota beat Houston 34-14. Minnesota takes over the NFC Central lead, with Green Bay waiting to play tomorrow night against Washington. Vince Evans started for the first time this year for Chicago. It didn't help. Detroit beat them 31-17. St. Louis and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay remains winless as St. Louis won that one 34-27. 3 Neil Lomax touchdown passes, and Ray Wersching kicked 6 field goals for San Francisco as the 49ers go to 5-2, beating New Orleans 32-13. Stay tuned. Coming up next for exclusive coverage of Game 5 of the 80th World Series, the Orioles versus the Phillies, after these words from your local station.
Tomorrow.
She's an ex-hooker, codename Black Widow.
I'd like to see you.
Mark falls for Deadly Lady.
You rang, sir.
And he's next on her list.
The next guy that comes out of you is a dead man.
Hardcastle and McCormick.
So what are you doing with this?
Then a network television premiere. Stallone. This time he's fighting for his life.
Why'd you kill the woman? I wanted to. So why don't you kill me? In due time.
Nighthawks.
I'm gonna kill that stinking pig!
Parental discretion advised. Tomorrow, following the World Series.
This delicious Roy Rogers sandwich of fresh oven-cooked roast beef is yours. This week only for just 99 cents. Let nothing keep you away. Neither rain nor snow nor dark of night. No, let nothing keep you away from Roy's this week during their 99-cent roast beef special. Nothing.
When I was 16, I could eat anything. I never had to diet, and I never gained an ounce. Well, those days are over. I still don't diet. I still eat what I like. But now I have to work it off. Holiday Spa makes it simple. You can join now for $14.98 a month and work out any way you like, from Nautilus to aerobics. So splurge. Eat that ice cream sundae. You'll work it off tomorrow if you call today.
Call Holiday now and join for just $14.98 a month.
Marvin Green is about to discover that he did not receive his hardware fair circular. He knows it's filled with special savings that he's not about to miss. Like a West Bend Buttermatic 2 4-quart automatic corn popper for just $12.88 and save $6 to $25 on level or 1-inch mini blinds now priced from just $18.99. Marvin's determined to get his hardware fair circular.
How about a trade?
And when you see the savings, you'll understand why. Look for the hardware fair circular in your Sunday comics section.
Weekend highlights and scores tonight.
The 1983 World Series is brought to you by Chevrolet, official U.S. cars and trucks of the 14th Olympic Winter Games. Chevrolet and you taking charge. And by light beer from Miller, everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. And by Gillette Atra Razor, the twin blade razor that pivots for a close, comfortable shave. And by Digital Equipment Corporation, quality, compatibility, reliability, computers from Digital.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to introduce the participants in the 1983 World Series. First, the American League champion Baltimore Orioles. Here is the manager of the Orioles, Joe Altobelli. And the Baltimore starting lineup. Leading off, the center fielder, number 1, Al Bumbry. Batting second, the right fielder, number 15, Dan Ford. Hitting third, the shortstop, number 8, Cal Ripken Jr. Batting fourth, the first baseman, number 33, Eddie Murray. Hitting fifth, the left fielder, number 38, John Lowenstein. Batting sixth, the second baseman, number 25, Rich Dower. Hitting seventh, the third baseman, number 10, Todd Cruz. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 24, Rick Dempsey. In the ninth position, now in the bullpen warming up, the pitcher, number 16, Scott McGregor. And the rest of the 1983 American League champion Baltimore Orioles. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the 1983 National League pennant winners, the Philadelphia Phillies. Here is the manager of the Phils, Paul Owens. And the Phillies starting lineup this afternoon. Leading off, the second baseman, number 8, Joe Morgan. Batting second, the right fielder, number 14, Pete Rose. Hitting third, the third baseman, number 20, Mike Schmidt. Batting fourth, the left fielder, number 34, Gary Matthews. Hitting fifth, the first baseman, number 24, Tony Perez. Batting sixth, the center fielder, number 31, Gary Maddox. Hitting seventh, the catcher, number 6, Bo Diaz. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 11, Ivan De Jesus. In the ninth position, in the right field bullpen warming up, the pitcher, number 49, Charles Hudson. Of the 1983 National League champion, Philadelphia Phillies. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we honor America with our national anthem, which this afternoon will be sung by the movie and stage star who was the original Annie in the famous Broadway show of the same name. Here is another Philadelphia star performer, Andrea McCardle.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Commissioner Bowie Kuhn and his wife Louisa were set at the vet for Game 5 of the '83 World Series.
Mom, how come Jeffy Wilson gave me his rabbit?
Well, since Jeffy's dad died, they have to move to an apartment.
Will we have to move if something happens to our dad?
Oh, no, baby.
Allstate Update. Mortgage Protection Life Insurance.
With an Allstate mortgage protection plan, it doesn't cost much to help make sure a paid-up house is there for your family, even if you aren't.
Don't worry, Murphy. You never have to move again.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Soon the U.S. Olympic team will be heading to Los Angeles for the Summer Games. They'll fly United, the official airline. This fall, every time you fly United, United donates free mileage to the program. Up to 5 million miles of free travel. The more times you fly, the more free miles they fly. It's United's 5 million mile challenge, and the winner is your Olympic team.
Yeah! United, official airline of the 1984 Olympic Games.
When IBM personal computer owners look for good software, where can they turn? To IBM for programs that help you keep up with modern times. Business programs, entertainment, productivity, education, and more. The variety you want with the quality you expect in the growing library of IBM personal computer software. A well-balanced selection at a store near you.
Here's your chance to get the official 1983 World Series program, a collector's item commemorating the 80th Fall Classic. Send check or money order for $4 to World Series program, Post Office Box 9800, St. Paul, Minnesota 55198. Please make checks payable to World Series program and allow 6 weeks for delivery. That's World Series program, Box 9800, St. Paul, Minnesota 55198. The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the commissioner's box at the first base side of the Phillies dugout, where Major League Baseball salutes the world champion Philadelphia Phillies of 1980. Here to throw out today's ceremonial first pitches are 2 pitchers from our team. Number 38, Larry Christensen, and number 45, Tug McGraw.
That is a great touch, especially with Christensen. You'll note that he threw it out left-handed. Larry is a right-handed pitcher. The reason he did that, he had 2 elbow operations this season. He's had 5 in his career. He was with Philadelphia at the start of the season. And talk about somebody with pain tolerance. Christensen said he had to alter his motion to the point his arm hurt so much he had to lift his right arm in his glove with his left hand all the way above his head to get it up there. And still he was throwing fastballs at 90 miles an hour. But finally had to go on the DL in May, and it'll be a long road back for a man who's had that many operations, but we wish him well.
It's a good story, Al. Hard to believe that he could get up to 90 miles an hour, but that's what he was clocked at, Al.
And Tug McGraw, of course, who is not eligible for postseason play. As the Phillies take the field, and Tony Perez, who started, of course, with Rose on the bench the other night, but Pete's in the lineup tonight. Tony's at first, and then Joe Morgan, of course, at second base. At shortstop for the Phillies, Ivan De Jesus. In his second year, he came over from the Cubs a couple of years back. And at third base, the man who's trying to get on track, the number 3 hitter, Mike Schmidt. In the outfield, Gary Matthews, who made that great catch yesterday in left field. In center field, the platoon situation there, it's Gary Maddox, since the Orioles are going with a left-hander. And Pete Rose, who's been all over the joint through his career, left, right, second, first, third in right field. Back of the plate is Bo Diaz. And the pitcher, Charles Hudson. Last year, A-ball. Year before that, rookie league. Beginning of this season, AAA, called up in May. Won some big games for the Phillies this season. A look around Veterans Stadium in the late afternoon sun. 330 down the lines, 371 to the power alleys, 408 to straightaway center. Again, it's a very good hitter's park. Balls rocket out of here. Playing surface is AstroTurf. Ballpark opening in 1971. The team moving over that season from Connie Mack Stadium. The umpires, Steve Palermo, who wins a lot of polls as the best umpire in the big leagues, is back of the plate. From the American League, Dutch Rennert, National first, Marty Springstead, American second, Ed Vargo, National third, Al Clark, American left field line, Frank Pulley, National right field line. Well, we know Palermo's good. Sometimes, though, that can be embarrassing. You got to take a lot of heat from your peers.
You certainly do, but the umpiring in the series has been good, and that's noticeable because of the lack of arguments that we've seen.
Nothing really that would stand out. The other night, we saw Al Clark and Altobelli engaged in a discussion between innings. All that was that Alto thought that Carlton might be doctoring the ball, and Clark said, I don't think so.
Well, not necessarily doctoring the ball, but had a sticky substance to make that slider and that breaking ball so good.
So we go to the 5th game with Baltimore on top, 3-1. They can wrap it up today. The Phillies need to win 3 straight. Al Bunbury to lead off as we get underway with a strike. 0-1. Bunbury 1 for 9 in the series. Hit .275 during the regular season. 0-2.
Well, Hudson's throwing hard again, and I see that they're giving Al Bunbury a lot of the left field line. As hard as Hudson's throwing, that's where Al would be hitting the ball, I believe, unless they throw in some breaking balls.
You saw Matthews and Maddox bunched together as Bunbury fouls it back. Hudson is a hard thrower. We've been clocking his last 2 pitches at 91 miles per hour. You saw him, as you look, on 3 days rest versus 4, and right now he pitched on Wednesday. So he's working on 3 days rest. He pitched very well the other night through 4 innings and then became a bit unraveled in the 5th as Bunbury fouls it away.
Well, there's the foul ball down the left field line. You know what that would indicate to a manager in a dugout, seeing them play out a little more straight away than other clubs, is that the pitching pattern might be to go on the inside half of the plate with the ball.
Bunbury was 0 for 2 against Hudson the other night. And Bunbury hits a soft little looper to the shortstop, to Jesus. 1 gone in the 1st inning. And Dan Ford will be the batter. Of course, Ford will be prominently featured in every highlight film ever done for the 1983 World Series, getting hit by the pitch from Willie Hernandez in Game 2.
And then coming back and hitting a home run.
Hudson from Texas. Joe Altobelli, rookie manager of the Orioles, first year there. Of course, Joe had prior experience in the big leagues at San Francisco in 77, 78, 79, but we touched on it yesterday. Spent a long time, 26 years in fact, in the minors, both as a player and manager.
Joe was the UPI Manager of the Year in the National League and has a very good chance of winning it in the American League. There hasn't been many people, I'm sure, that won Manager of the Year awards in both leagues.
0-2 pitch, missing, in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Normally, that Manager of the Year award oftentimes goes to the guy who manages the team that exceeds everybody's expectations by the most. In other words, if you're expected to win a pennant and you normally don't get the award. It's the guy who's picked to finish 5th and comes in 2nd.
Well, that's happened a number of times, too.
That's what happened with Joe when he was with the Giants in 78. The next pitch to Ford is a swing and a miss. 2-2. Bobby Cox, of course, will have a good shot from Toronto. But keep in mind, when you think about that award, I was looking it up. Gene Mauch won it in 1964, the one year he would love to forget. Swing and a miss, and down goes Ford.
And of course, the year the Whiz Kids died, the Cardinals under Johnny Keane roared to the front and then beat the Yankees 4-3 in the World Series. But I think Tony La Russa is going to get the Manager of the Year award in the American League.
Very good candidate.
That was a man that the White Sox put Bobby Winkles on the trail of for 10-12 days with a view to laying the foundation to fire him. But that was when they made the trade for Julio Cruz, and the club came together.
Ripken takes inside, ball 1. 1-0. Now the question there's Mike Boddicker. He opposed Hudson the other night. He would go to the mound in Game 6 if there is a Game 6 on Tuesday. 2 balls, no strikes as Hudson falls behind on Ripken. Ripken and Murray combined are 5 for 31 in the series. And the amazing thing is, if you have said that before the series, you've got to think Baltimore might be out of here in 4.
Or down 3-1. However, the center of the Phillies lineup hasn't done much better.
If Schmidt had hit, different story. Works both ways. The very point Mike himself made on the pregame show in his talk with me.
Here's a pitch that Charles Hudson thought just might be a real good pitch. In fact, it looked like it from up here.
3-1 pitch coming up to Ripken. Look out.
They're still on the outside half of the plate, and Cal Jr. hasn't moved up. We'll see him reach for this ball as it comes in. Going out to try to get it, but it's just a little, seems to be a little bit out of his reach.
Fouled away.
And that's the one that keeps you honest. That was right in on his hands.
Paul Owens, the 59-year-old Philly manager who came down to replace Pat Corrales in July.
Made an aggressive move tonight. Moving Rose to right field, putting Perez on first. He knows that Perez has great hitting stats against Scotty McGregor.
He's definitely looking for offense, sacrificed a little bit defensively.
Toscano, of course, hurt.
3-2 pitch is a check swing foul. He has lost it.
Chase that one, Earl.
Well, 3-2. It was just, might have been, Howard, just a little bit low. But close enough that you might not want to let it go by. Definitely a ball. He'd been on first base, I think, if he took it, but it was close. You hate to go back to the bench with that bat on your shoulder.
3-2, 2 out. Bases empty. Top of the first.
The thing about this kid is, with his offensive stats, he's looked on as an offensive player. If he hit 260, they'd call him a defensive shortstop genius.
That's right. 100% right.
Line to left field. Matthews racing over and backhands it in the corner. What a play.
What a series for Matthews.
Well, he's adventuresome. He's like a bull in a china shop in left field, but he's always played it that way. Gary Matthews got a great jump on it, is able to backhand it and take a double away from Cal Ripken. So 2 days in a row, spectacular catches. The crowd responds as it's shown on the screen here at the bed in Philadelphia. And thanks to that, Hudson has a 1-2-3 inning.
Good.
Orioles gone in order. And so underway in Game 5 after a half. It's Baltimore nothing and Philadelphia coming up.
The results are in. More Americans looked at value and put their money on Chevrolet in the 1983 model year. They made Chevrolet #1 in new car and truck sales, #1 in onboard computers, #1 in fuel injection, #1 in front drives. That's because Chevrolet provides the cars and trucks America wants and needs. In fact, over the past 6 years, Chevrolet has sold more than all the imports combined. Thanks, America. Chevrolet. And you.
How can a guy 5'9" have an unfair advantage over these guys? I use the Gillette Atra razor. They don't. It's got the advantage of a pivoting head. Atra is better than twin blade razors that don't pivot. See? They don't always stay in my beard, but my Atra pivots to keep both blades on my beard longer. So I get a better shave, close, comfortable.
Get the Gillette Atra and get the Atra advantage.
Sometimes a little advantage goes a long way.
Defensively for the Orioles, Eddie Murray is at first base. And the second baseman, yesterday's hero, Rich Dower, with 3 hits. At shortstop is Cal Ripken, who just got robbed by Matthews. And the third baseman is the light hitting Todd Cruz. But he's done the job with the glove for them. In the outfield, in left field, of course, the platoon situation with Hudson going. We'll see Lowenstein today. And then in center field, it's either Shelby or Bunbury, depending on the pitcher. It's Bunbury getting the start against Hudson. And in right field is Danny Ford. Back of the plate, as usual, Rick Dempsey. And the pitcher, Scotty McGregor. Howard, you brought up an interesting point, too, which had to figure in Paul Owens' decision today about the lineup. Sixto Lezcano has that contusion that he suffered the other night in a bunt attempt on the right index finger, and it limits his ability to throw, though he can hit.
Well, it also cuts back on his ability to control that bat, to have the grip on it he'd like. The thing about Scotty McGregor to remember is this, that the Birds this year, 116, lost only 8 on artificial turf. That record is lodged mainly in McGregor. He is 7-0 on artificial turf with an earned run average of 1.21.
Scotty's a fly ball pitcher, so the artificial turf is not going to bother him. But being a fly ball pitcher, the short fences sometime come into effect.
Especially that left field shoot.
Morgan, who hit a home run off McGregor in the 6th inning in game 1. There's Hudson under the towel. 2 balls, no strikes to count on Joe, who's hit 2 homers in the series. Another thing to think about with McGregor, 14-1 on the road this season.
That's another phenomenal record.
A strike. It's incredible to think about it. 4-6 at Memorial Stadium, and then 14-1 away. So he was 18-7 overall. Another strike, and the count 3-2.
Joe Morgan looked like he was taking that pitch all the way. They want to get people on base today.
Morgan is the only left-handed batter in the Philly lineup today. Rose, who's on deck, of course, is a switch hitter. Morgan reaching for it and hitting a foul outside first, and it's Darren Johnson.
Well, we've already seen Al Morgan stand up very well as Scotty McGregor. 6th inning, first game, right field, home run. Right after Earl Weaver had been talking about the manner in which Joe was standing up there against him, and half predicted the very homer that Joe hit.
He had 2 hits off McGregor that night, and this one is fouled straight back toward us and just above us.
I missed 3 balls in the Little League World Series in the booth. That one's a little bit closer than this.
I don't know how much we missed that one, but I was under the table here.
Scotty with a quick 3 balls, no strike count on Joe. Did not, remember, walk a single person in the first game.
And he strikes Morgan out. So Joe quickly gets things his way, 3-0. The next thing you know, he's walking back to the dugout.
And that's that off-speed pitch that only a pitcher like Scott, there's my old left fielder, a man that's in the Hall of Fame, a man that won the most valuable player in both leagues, Frank Robbins.
What a man. When he first came up as a rookie with the Cincinnati Reds, he was beamed by Ruben Gomez, taken to the hospital.
Pete Rose drills it into center field for a base hit. So Rose on the bench Friday came back yesterday with 2 hits and a walk and a solid single here. And the crowd with Pete, 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 the chant.
Pete, Pete, Pete just continues to amaze me.
He's the greatest competitor. Charlie Hustle in the game of baseball. He's still answering back for being benched. There's the swing. He ignites a ball club single-handedly. Finds so many ways to beat you. For so many years, the very best there is at what he does, and here's Mike Schmidt.
Schmidt had a great series in '80, as you can see, against Kansas City. He was the MVP in that series. But again, hits a fly ball, an easy fly to right field. Danny Ford coming in, and Mike is now 1 for 17.
First pitch.
And here's the guy coming up, Al, that I think now we're close enough to talk about a series MVP, because it could end today, Earl. The most valuable player on the field so far this series, Pete Rose or no Pete Rose, is that man, Gary Matthews. The catch yesterday on John Shelby shows you why. You've already seen another in the first inning today on Cal Ripken. And he had a big home run, you'll remember.
Yes, he did, and he's going into this ball game hitting .333 in the World Series.
And that's coming off a championship series in which he was the MVP.
Tom Seaver was sure right in that prediction.
Rose at first base. McGregor has a somewhat deceptive move over there, and you can see Rose looking back and saying, isn't that a balk to Dutch Rennert, who's a National League umpire?
Well, that definitely was not a balk.
You know, Pete, he's trying to get the edge anyway.
Yes, he is. He's going to do something to upset McGregor, but I don't think we'll see a lot of running by the Phillies in this game. They put in an offensive lineup, and I think they're going to try to win big.
Coming in, as we have stated on a couple of occasions, neither team really a running team. And neither team's really been running a whole lot in the series. Of course, there hasn't been a whole lot of offense outside of home runs. 0-2 the count. In fact, there have been only 2 stolen bases in the entire series. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
McGregor's shown us that he's got that good changeup. That's the pitch that he got Joe Morgan on 3 and 2, the first hitter of the ball game. And when he's controlling that, he can throw it on any count, any time.
Dempsey starts to the dugout to try to help Palermo out. Palermo says you got to earn it. 2-2.
Scotty McGregor showed a little motion there also. The pitch they thought was in the strike zone above the belt, very close, but they didn't get it from Steve Palermo.
Feisty guy, Steve. Sharp tongue, won't take anything from anybody.
He's got a quick temper. They say I got a quick temper. He's got a quick one. But a very good umpire.
How many times did he derrick you?
Just 4.
That's all. Just 4.
That shows he's a good umpire. We didn't have that many arguments, Howard.
2-2 pitch is hit in the air, curling down the right field line and into the corner, and Danny Ford has room and juggles and makes the catch, and it's ruled a fair ball. So Matthews hitting it right into the corner, and Ford going a long way to get it. No runs and a hit. And they leave Rose at first base. Pete has 4 hits in the series. And at the end of 1, Baltimore nothing, Philadelphia nothing.
Here comes the all-time favorite on a sesame seed bun. He's McDonald's Big Mac. He's always been #1. It's the leader of the pack. McDonald's Great Big Mac. 2 pure beef patties, lettuce, pickles going in. Special sauce is a hit. Gotta give him a spin. Mellow cheese melting down, down. He's at the top of the charts, all over town. Leader of the pack, Big Mac. McDonald's and you.
MasterCard, I'm bored. Oh, my interest is piqued. MasterCard, I'd follow you anywhere.
The next time you make a long-distance business call, think about this. Long distance is important to every business, and only one long-distance company can connect you with anyone, anywhere in the world. AT&T. We can custom design a network for you and help increase productivity and manage costs. That's enough to satisfy any business, even accounting. AT&T. We're what you call long distance.
Last year's Super Bowl champion Redskins are out to prove they can do it again. Tomorrow, they tackle the Packers with All-Pro wide receiver James Lofton on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Al Michaels, Howard Cosell, Earl Weaver, Game 5 of the World Series. Baltimore can clinch it with a victory today. The Phillies want to go south about 95 miles for a 6th game, which will be played on Tuesday. No score, 2nd inning. And Eddie Murray, the switch hitter, to lead things off against Charles Hudson. Got a look at Ford. Danny juggling. That's a real tough play because you run out of room in a hurry down there. There's no room in foul territory.
There's not much room, and that's what he was worried about, carrying himself right into that wall.
They appeal at third and get a strike call on a check swing by Murray from the third base umpire, Ed Bargo.
They did?
Yes, they did.
I don't think so.
I can't believe that call. Look at it. Watch the way Murray held up.
It always looks like you go further.
I'm wrong.
No, you're not, Howard. It always looks further from up here than when you're down on that field.
Yeah, but I still got to call that a strike, too. Looking over at Reggie, he's saying marginal. 0-2 pitch is fouled straight back.
Those Phils are not hot. The Phils are not. Go Orioles.
I'd like to say this, though. 14 times during the course of the regular season, the Phillies have won 3 games in a row. So this thing is far from over.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Murray.
Phillies aware of that fact, and so are the Orioles.
Rick Dempsey made that clear. He said it was the first thing he thought of when they won the 3rd.
The whole team did, and they're not talking 3 wins in the Oriole dugout or clubhouse before the game.
2-2 the count.
Cardinals and Gibson apparently had the Tigers put to rest in '68. Mickey Lolich took over the series.
That was an unbelievable series, Howard. I was at that one.
Murray drills it to deep right field. And one thing about Murray is when he breaks out of a slump, he really does it.
And it was mentioned in the booth. Howard said it. In the last ball game, it looked like Eddie Murray was swinging the bat a little bit better. He's had a couple of pitches like that earlier in the series and hasn't been able to do much with them. But he certainly got all of that one.
You could see by his demeanor today, he knew he was getting back into his hitting groove. He was much more relaxed and comfortable, even in the way he talked to people.
We get it here from high above. You can see the beautiful swing he had. The arms were outstanded, and you can see how far it goes up into the stands here. Eddie Murray got all of that pitch. He's been waiting a long time for that one.
Lowenstein takes low. Another look at the swing. Very similar to Chicago, Earl, in the sense he was cold in that series, and the next thing you know, he hits one into the upper deck at Comiskey.
What a beautiful swing, but it was a 3-2 fastball right down the middle, too. If he's going to hit a pitch, that's the one he should wait and hit, if he can get the pitcher into that situation.
This guy is no piker. He has 1 home run, came very close to another. Down the left field foul line, barely fouled, you'll remember. 5 hits in the series, candidate for MVP.
Lowenstein, fly ball to right field. Now here's our chance for Pete Rose. Flips the cap off and makes the catch. And of course, Pete is no stranger out there. In fact, this year, early on in the season, when Hayes was hurt, they had Rose playing right and Perez at first base.
What does Pete care anywhere, as long as he's playing? Coming right at the screen. He played that fly ball, and it was up in the air. He played that fly ball like he's been playing right field all year. Right under it, 2-handed catch. I got you, he said.
Pete started 31 games in right field this year.
Dower, the batter. And of course, Pete has a lot of experience when he was with the Reds. Remember, he initially started at second base and then played left and right, and then they moved him to third. And then over to first when he came here as you look at Eddie Murray in the Oriole dugout, who has given Baltimore a 1-0 lead.
Breathing a lot easier right now.
Dower pops it up in foul ground. Schmidt and Diaz don't have room. 2-1.
But the thing to put in perspective, Earl, Lowenstein's blow was not a cheap shot either, and they timed Hudson's fastball. They're looking fastball, obviously, every pitch. Both Murray and Lowenstein.
They're going to be looking fastball. There's no doubt about that. But the thing is, to try to get ahead of Charles Hudson, the Oriole players want to get a 3-1, 3-2. Then his location on that fastball can't be as good.
Fly ball to shallow center. Morgan goes out, and then Maddox calls Morgan off, and it's Gary for the catch. Center fielder taking charge there. 2 down. And Hudson will face Todd Cruz, who hit 199 during the regular season and is 2 for 11 in the series.
Todd's the only one of the 3 Stooges who hasn't come through. That's what they call him in Baltimore. Hasn't come through with a big hit. But he did figure very importantly in a bunt play.
0-1 the count.
They're not only called the 3 Stooges in Baltimore. Affectionately, they call themselves the 3 Stooges.
1 ball, 1 strike to count.
The pattern continues with the solo home runs, though. And by solo, I mean with nobody on base, naturally.
I believe that's the 8th.
That's right. All the home runs in the series with nobody on. Good pitch. pitch on the outside half, and the count 2-2. Charles Hudson, 2 years in the big leagues, 2 years in professional baseball. This is his first season in the big leagues. Pitched at Helena, Montana when he came up in '81. Foul tipped here, and Diaz can't hold it. Last year he was an A-ball at Peninsula in the Carolina League. Appeared in only 51 games in the minors, and then was called up in May. To the count.
One thing about Eddie Murray, and the same thing about Mike Schmidt. Maybe in 4 or 5 games, you're not really going to get to see what they can do. But you give them enough time, and they'll do the things that they're capable of doing.
And a swing and a miss for strike 3. Todd Cruz is out of there. Started using that high left field camera last year in the playoffs, and as you can see, it gives you an interesting perspective as we go out, taking a look at Murray swinging the homer, and after an inning and a half, Baltimore 1, Philadelphia 0.
As a relief pitcher, everybody thought I had it easy. See Pat here? He'd pitch his heart out for 8 innings or so, and then
Sparky come in, toss 3 or 4 pitches, and walk away with a win.
But I had to
train just like the rest of us.
Yeah, well, I still like to keep in shape, and I
He drinks light beer from Miller.
See, light's
less filling,
and light
really tastes great.
Will you just let me finish?
Why? You never let me finish.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Let me finish that for you, Sparky.
This is Mr. Goodwrench. Did you know the spark plugs in your GM car or truck make 8,000 explosions a minute? And each explosion depends on an exact amount of gasoline and air to make your car or truck perform right. So to make sure all those explosions happen precisely, get a professional tune-up by Mr. Goodwrench. We have quality GM parts, equipment, and training available.
It's another of Mr. Goodwrench's good ways.
To keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts.
I'm looking for jeans that really fit.
Try Lee.
You bet I will. Fit like a glove.
Mike, all you have to do is look for the patch.
Lee Jeans, the brand that fits.
That device known around here as the paint box. And a look at what you just saw about 5 minutes ago. The swing by Eddie Murray, which resulted in the home run. Baltimore leads 1-0 as Tony Perez stands in.
Remarkable performer through the years, especially against McGregor. 438 he's hit against Scotty. 7 for 16, 1 home run. So if past his prologue, watch out.
A strike. As you can see, defensively, Dower is playing almost straight up the middle for Perez, though the outfield defensive is not quite as pronounced. Perez hits it in the air, off to the right and back out of play.
And we got to remember the at-bat against Palmer. They played him more to right center field in that particular at-bat, mainly because Palmer had moved him over.
Moved Shelby over. Shelby still had to stretch for it, made a fine catch.
1-2 the count. Now the way what the Orioles are telling you defensively here is they feel if he hits the ball on the ground, he's going to pull it. But if he hits it in the air, basically straight away.
Also that they might be going on the inside half of the plate with him.
2-2 the count.
If I can qualify the stats that Howard gave you just a little, Tony Perez got 6 for 9 the first year he faced McGregor, and McGregor adjusted. The last 7 at-bats, he only had 1 hit. Yeah, so Scotty's going to be a little careful with him, is what I'm trying to point out. He has to be careful with him.
Which he's doing now with the full count.
Right. That's exactly right.
3-2. Perez to be followed by Maddox and Diaz. Count remains 3-2.
Pitchers don't like the 3-2 count with a power hitter up there and one that has already hit one out of you.
Considering how little he was used at the end of the season.
And he ran it in on him, and down he goes. So Perez strikes out, and McGregor has 2 strikeouts. He's got Morgan and Perez, and Gary Maddox will come up. In game 1, Tuesday night in Baltimore, this turned out to be the winning blow. McGregor was the pitcher, Maddox was the batter. Gary's the first ball fastball hitter, took it out.
And that won the game.
And that was an inside pitch, and let's see if Scotty McGregor stays on the outside half now.
No balls and a strike to count. Maddox golfs it in the air to center field. Bumbry waiting for it. One center fielder has just taken care of the other, and there are 2 away here in the second inning.
The point I was going to make, Al, was that Perez, despite the fact that he's seen so little action throughout the late days of September and early October, has come back with a bang, has found his hitting groove quickly.
He's been a professional hitter all his life. That man can hit.
Bo Diaz is the hitter.
He's had a big series. Together with Lowenstein, he leads in hits. John has 5. Bo has 5.
2 out, no one on. 1-0 Orioles in the bottom of the second inning. Another beautiful day in Philadelphia. Temperature around 60 degrees. 0-2. Diaz popping it up. Right side. Murray coming down in foul ground. And it's a 1-2-3 inning as Scott McGregor starts things by getting 6 of the first 7 men he faces. So we'll go to the third in game 5. Orioles 1, Phillies nothing.
Do you know what Kit Kat has in store for you? Those light, crispy wafers smothered in rich, creamy chocolate. Kit Kat, the chocolate bar so good, you roar. Kit Kat, the crispy chocolate bar so good, you roar.
Hitachi, a world leader in technology, presents quality, backed by the most aggressive research program in our history. You can see the quality in Hitachi's Portadeck video recorder, our lightest, most advanced VCR ever, stacked or side by side with 5 heads, providing a wide selection of special effects, plus our exclusive Adjustomatic warranty protection. That's quality. That's Hitachi, a world leader in technology.
Nearly 4 hours. That's how long it took us to paint this room with a roller. Then we painted it in less than 1 hour with the new Wagner Power Roller. A living room that took nearly 7 hours. The Wagner Power Roller finished in less than 3. The Power Roller pumps paint straight from the can to the roller or to any of several optional accessories. Why waste your time painting a pan when you could be painting your walls instead? The Wagner Power Roller, the right tool for painting.
Tonight.
Codename Black Widow.
Every man she touches dies.
Oh, I'd like to see you.
And Hardcastle and McCormick are next on her list. Tonight after the World Series.
In the third inning, 8, 9, and 1 in the Oriole order. Dempsey, McGregor, and Bumbry against Hudson. 1-0 Baltimore and a second inning home run by Eddie Murray. Dempsey 3 for 10 in the series, and the 2 doubles coming in the same game. In game 3 on Friday. Hit to deep left field. Matthews going all the way back, and Dempsey has hit it out.
I wonder how many people were expecting that.
That is some stooge, that Dempsey.
They call the bottom of that order Dower, Cruz, and Dempsey, the 3 Stooges, but they have done the job the entire series.
Got a little lax and threw a fastball right down the center of the plate.
Certainly a leading candidate if the Birds clinch today for MVP.
There it is from high over. See him have a good cut. This one, not like Eddie Murray's, was not in the way back, but just enough to bring him another run.
Dempsey hit 4 during the regular season, so it's 2-0 Orioles, and McGregor is the batter and taking low, ball 1.
Another solo homer. Another home run with nobody.
That's 9 of them.
Been the whole pattern. McGregor grounded out twice in game 1, facing John Denny.
One happy fellow.
Series with 9, 5-game series with 9 homers. You think there'd been a lot of runs scored.
Sure.
There hasn't been in this series.
Chopper, your old buddy Dr. Longball's been around, but he hasn't had any patience to carry with him. Well, the Philadelphia bench, and they've got to be thinking what's going on right now. Paul Owens. 2-2 is lined to right field. That's good wood, but Rose is there and makes the catch, so Hudson doesn't pull McGregor, but he gets away with it.
The great thing about Rose is no matter what's happening, he's always full of life. Nobody quite like him.
Pitch was right down the middle again, and Scott McGregor got good wood. But there's Pete.
Well, the thing about Pete, the funny thing, and people know it in Florida in particular, they say it, but only if you go to those spring training games. You know, he plays the same way in St. Petersburg on March 15th that he does here.
Pete could have got a hit every time up in this series, and he'd still be just as mad right now because they're down 3-1 in games and 2-0. That's what Pete Rose doesn't like.
Bumbury takes high, ball 1.
Talking to me still about the night he was benched. He said cryptically today, didn't make much sense, did it?
Little chopper to the left side. De Jesus throws him out. 2 down. By the way, some folks in Florida probably saying, don't you know the Phillies train in Clearwater? Well, I said St. Peter. Well, the Cardinals and the Mets are down there, so when he's on the road. But the point is, Rose has always played the game the same way, no matter whether it's March or October. First inning or 9th inning, 1-0 or 22-2. One of a kind. Ford at the plate. Strike, 0-1.
Good off-speed curve pitch right there.
Yeah. When Charles Hudson learns to throw that pitch when he's behind or on 3-2, he's going to win an awful lot of ball games. He knows how to throw the pitch, but when you can know that you're going to throw it for a strike, that's when you move into the 20-game win category.
No balls, 2 strikes to count. Hudson pitched a beauty in the playoffs. He won game 3, and that was a critical game, of course, in the best of 5 as the Dodgers came in there tied with the Phillies at a game apiece. He went all the way that day. Fought it off and fouls it away on a half swing. 0-2.
Quiet Philadelphia crowd at this time, isn't it?
Well, not much to cheer about, and you've heard about this park. It is. It's very noisy ballpark, and they've filled it again, of course, but they haven't had a lot to cheer about. Some solo home runs, but no rallies, no sustained rallies.
Well, at 2-0, the Phillies are right in the ball game.
Down goes Ford, blows it by him, but another home run for Baltimore. In the 3rd, we'll take another look now as Dempsey hits one out, leading things off just over the fence and left and into the top. And we'll go to the bottom of the 3rd with Baltimore leading 2-0.
Good picture.
The RCA SelectaVision Video Monitor is a high-performance television and more. It's designed to get the most from your video components. Video cassette recorders, video disc players, and even your stereo. Simply plug in for a better picture and true stereo sound. The RCA Select Division Video Monitor. Quite simply, incredible.
We'll open your eyes. Chevy Tough taking charge. Earth.
Keep moving, moving. S10 Blazer.
Wind.
Keep storming, storming. S10 Blazer.
Fire.
Keep blazing, blazing. S10 Blazer.
Water.
Keep turning, turning. S10 Blazer. Keep moving, keep storming, keep blazing, keep turning.
In all of nature, there's nothing like the thrill of a tough Chevy S10 Blazer. Chevy Tough is taking charge.
5 seconds to the gold medal. 4 to the gold medal. This impossible dream comes true.
And now, there are new dreams.
Here is Amanda Jesus as we go to the bottom of the third inning. He'll be followed by Charles Hudson and then Joe Morgan. De Jesus tries to bunt his way on. Cruz charging in from third, and the count is 0-1. Not a bad idea, but on the AstroTurf, of course, you have to lay one down almost perfectly.
Yes, but now that they're 2 down, they know that they can't tie it until they get a man on base. Good, smart baseball.
If nothing else, it brings Cruz up a couple of steps at third, and then De Jesus fouls it back. And the count is no balls and 2 strikes. Soft fly ball to right field. And Danny Ford is there for the basket grab. 1 out. Monday Night Football coming up tomorrow. The Washington Redskins are off to a good start at 5-1 against the Green Bay Packers. Marked as 3-3. Len Dickey, Joe Theismann. That's the matchup tomorrow night on Monday Night Football. Charles Hudson is the batter. A strike. You know, McGregor is laboring under an extra strain. His dad is in town and he's in the hospital. He underwent some surgery the other day. We understand he's recovering and obviously watching the game, and we want to send him our best, but
yes, indeed.
Get better,
very much
John.
on Scotty's mind.
Interesting sideline to this sidebar of this World Series. Edward Bennett Williams is a minority owner still of the Washington Redskins. That team won the Super Bowl. Now as principal owner of the Birds, he can enjoy the fruits of total victory in both major sports.
That would be something.
1-2 to Hudson is popped up in foul ground, and Dempsey won't have room.
He said last night, Earl and Al and I had dinner together in the same restaurant, and Edward Bennett Williams was there. He said, "This will be the fulfillment of my life." I said, "With your courtroom victories, Ed, the people you've represented." He said, "No, this would be it."
Hudson strikes out. Well, his club is leading 2-0. And, of course, on top in the series, 3-1, and McGregor looks sharp. Morgan had 2 hits in Game 1 off McGregor, including this home run on Tuesday. A pitch he stayed in on. And hit it out, but Scotty struck him out in the first inning today.
Went to 3-2 and then threw him a 3-2 changeup.
But he really digs in there. That front foot never goes in the bucket. We were talking about in the bucket yesterday. You're old enough to remember Al Simmons, aren't you?
I
Even
certainly
if Reggie
do.
isn't.
I certainly do. And Mel Ott more or less stepped in the bucket also with a high leg kick.
Lifting that front foot up. Right field belonged to Mel Ott.
2 balls, no strikes. 2 out, and the base is empty. Morgan taking 2-1 with Rose on deck. Pete has the only hit against McGregor. There's Rose. Scotty has retired everybody else, and he has struck out 3 of the first 9 men he's faced.
They don't have an assist on the infield. There hasn't been a ground ball out.
And it's 3-1. McGregor throwing in the mid-80s. That last pitch at 86. And so Morgan is on. And Joe, all-time National League leader in walks, goes down to first base, and up comes Rose.
And how he wants to get on for Mike Schmidt.
Pete singled in the first inning. 2 hits yesterday. Four out of 13 in the World Series. Strike. Rose indicating he might be bunting, and that drew Cruz into third.
Morgan at first base has to be a little careful. Eddie can give some tricky fakes, like he's moving off the bag and then go back.
Another strike, and so quickly McGregor gets things his way. 0-2. It's not the easiest time of day for the hitters. Everything encased in shadow right now, but the lights really haven't taken effect at 5:47 local time. And Rose pops it up on the left side, so another ball in the air. McGregor still doesn't have a ground ball out, but no damage through 3. Cal Ripken puts that one away, and at the end of 3 complete in Game 5, it's still Baltimore 2, Philadelphia nothing.
Working hard when the pressure's on could mean perspiration odor. New Right Guard antiperspirant helps stop wetness better than the leading spray, as it kills the bacteria that cause perspiration odor.
Yeah,
Miss McDonald.
You work hard, you need Right Guard. You work hard, you need Right Guard.
What does it take to excel?
You have my word. You'll get it tomorrow.
It takes reliability, speed, economy. It takes express mail next day service from the post office. Our 2-pound pack is just $9.35. Most others charge about twice that. We deliver over 90,000 packages on time every day.
You're a man of your word. I just got it.
Express mail service. We deliver excellence for less.
And now, an announcement that can't wait.
We have something to tell you.
We can't keep it a secret any longer.
See, from the very beginning, I knew he was a winner.
I felt the same way. So now it's time for everybody in the world to know.
Burger King has switched to Pepsi.
Burger King and Pepsi, 2 winning tastes.
Together at last?
Together at last.
Tonight, Stallone. This time he's fighting for his life.
Kill that stinking pig!
Nighthawks, tonight after Hardcastle and McCormick. Parental discretion advised.
That clear blue sky framing the Goodyear blimp in the twilight in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As you look down, what a magnificent sight that is. Veterans Stadium. Packed to the gills, of course. More than 66,000 yesterday looked on.
You mentioned the twilight. There will come a time in this game when the light is such that a high fly ball is going to be tough for an outfielder to see.
When will that be?
Really can't tell, Howard, but that period will last some 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes during the course of a ball game.
Ripken takes a strike, 0-1.
Right on the outside corner. The same pitch that has tied him up throughout the series. And yet he's hit some balls very well. He's got a couple of key hits.
Low and away, 1-1.
Those were the pitches that were center of the plate or center of the plate in. But he's shown us he can go to right field. You know, if it's not right on that corner, he's got a chance. Ball players are just hesitant to change in a 5-game period.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Ripken.
Ripken has the power to hit the ball over the right field fence also, just like Mike Schmidt does.
Ripken to be followed by Murray and then Lowenstein. 2-0 Orioles in the 4th inning. Two and two. There's Murray, whose home run in the 2nd made it 1-0, and then Dempsey hit the home run in the 3rd to make it 2-0. Full count.
Both pitches just missing.
Hudson has not walked a man.
Be careful, Charles. You can't let the birds get out of sight.
And he just begins the fourth inning by walking Ripken. So Murray is coming up. Going to bring Reggie Jackson in for a word. Reggie, describe this, the swing here.
You take a look at Murray hit this home run right here. I talked to him before the ball game in the clubhouse. He seemed to be a lot more relaxed and a lot more confident, maybe because of yesterday's ball game, even though he only got one base hit. He knew that he had swung the bat well. He also knew he was taking pitches well. He felt more relaxed. You know, Eddie's the type of guy, seems to be shy, seems to be quiet. He believes he has to remain that way to play his game. Seems to me that this is the fellow that's the real leader on the ball club. And the Baltimore Ball Club has seemed to take his personality. Just quiet, relaxed, do their job, and get the job done consistently.
So here's Murray now with Ripken at first base. A strike. Meanwhile, in the Philadelphia bullpen, you can't wait when you're in the World Series like this. Marty Bystrom is throwing. It's today or never for the Phils, so you get somebody up in a hurry.
The problem is they've got to stay close, and Baltimore keeps applying the pressure. 2-run lead isn't a lot, but if they get a couple more, then panic.
And Murray drills it to deep right center field again. And so Eddie Murray, all of a sudden, 2 for 16 in the series coming in, has hit 2 home runs, and it's 4-0 Orioles.
Well, not only did Reggie Jackson sitting next to me call the pitch, a slow speed, off-speed pitch, but also said Eddie's going to get it. Eddie hit a fastball, 3-2 fastball the first time. He went to the plate looking for the breaking ball, and there it went.
Didn't we say before the game, Reg, that we thought Eddie would hit at least 2 out today?
Now we get to see it again. Off-speed pitch. Eddie Murray didn't make a move till the ball got to home plate, and again he got all of it. There was no doubt about it when it left the bat.
4-0 with Lowenstein at the plate now, and Lowenstein pops it up back of third to Jesus, and Schmidt are there, and Mike makes the catch. So all of a sudden, people who only watch postseason baseball around the country, I'm sure you think back to '79, you think about the playoffs this year and the series this year. You have to think, who is this guy? How can he be so good? Why do they keep talking so glowingly about Murray? Well, if you watch them today, you know why.
And if there were a few extra games, which we don't know whether there will be or whether there won't be, but you'd see Mike Schmidt do the same thing.
Sure, no question.
Hit 40 during the course of the regular season. You might not hit one for 5 or 6 games, but these guys get them every 13 or 14 times up.
Look at him now, aggressive.
Yes, he is.
Different posture, attitude in the dugout. Why not? 2 home runs.
That home run broke a pattern, too. That's the first home run with a man aboard in the series. And that's it high in the air down the left field line, but hooking and going foul back out of play. Eddie Murray has driven in 3 of the 4 runs. 2-1 the count on Dower, 1 out and the base is empty. And that's hit high in the air to deep left field, but it will stay in for Gary Matthews, who makes the catch near the edge of the track. So 2 down in the 4th inning, and Todd Cruz will be the batter.
When you're not going good, there's not much you can say to a player but hang in there, and that gets a little bit old. But when you hit 2 home runs, there's a lot of things you can say to make a guy feel good.
Fly ball to left field, and Matthews is there to make the catch, and so the crowd here is very still. 66,000 have never sounded so quiet in the middle of the 4th inning. Baltimore 4 and Philadelphia nothing in game 5.
Air France, Concorde. You want me to revise the cost estimate, pull in the cotton production figures, get all the projections, and send you the whole presentation to the Paris office by 5?
By Paris time.
Bon voyage.
I'm counting on you.
You're a professional. When the pressure's on, people know they can rely on you.
Eric, we have a lot to do.
That's why you rely on office automation from Digital. Digital Equipment Corporation provides office solutions for professionals.
I'll send it to Paris.
From one terminal, right on your desk, Digital makes it easy to create graphics, write reports,
Should be landing just about now.
even send electronic mail.
It's all on its way to Paris.
Bonjour, mes amis. The world's largest computer company doesn't do that.
Le communiqué de New York.
Terrific. But the world's second largest does.
Well, I guess we made it.
Digital Equipment Corporation. Computers for professionals from professionals.
There's more for your car during Sears National Automotive Sale. Like our lowest price in 3 years on the Die Hard. Save $20 on the replacement battery more people have confidence in. Only $49.99 with trade-in.
And save 30% on weather-wise steel-belted all-season radials. Now as low as $39.99. It's our largest savings ever.
Heavy-duty shocks are only $9.88 each installed.
There's more for your car.
Confidence installed day and night.
There's more for your life at Sears.
A key Big Ten game. Michigan undefeated in their conference battles Iowa, whose sole loss was to Illinois. A crucial showdown in the race for the Big Ten title, Saturday.
Also next Saturday, Wide World of Sports, Eusebio Pedrosa against Jose Caba, live from Italy, WBA World Featherweight Championship and the World Table Tennis Championships from Tokyo on Wide World at 5 Eastern Time. Next Saturday, Charles Hudson, a man who has yielded 3 homers, his team in a hole. Paul Owens is not very happy about the things going on. Obviously, they're doing some manicuring work on the mound. And of course, Jim Palmer mentioned the other night that he thought it was quite high. It has really nothing to do with that, as they simply smooth out the slope for Scotty McGregor.
His landing area, right-handed pitcher, left foot, left-handed pitcher is right foot. Scotty pitches way across his body. You see that right foot as you see him come off of that mound toward the first base dugout as he takes his warm-ups. And he was having trouble as that foot was coming down. Sometime there can be a little rock buried in there, a little hard spot, and if your foot doesn't come down squarely, it definitely will affect your control.
McGregor through 3 has found the right landing spot. See exactly where his foot comes down, but he's allowed only 1 hit. That a single by Rose in the first inning, has not allowed has not gotten a ground ball out, has walked 1, has struck out 3, and here is Schmidt. So the crowd tries to come to life. They've been very quiet, nothing to cheer about thus far today, and not much over the weekend, in fact. And for Schmidt, nothing at all to cheer about. He's 1 for 17. 1-0. So Mike going up there taking. When you're down 4-0 like this, you have to think about base runners. And you're going to see a lot of pitchers being taken in situations like this until you get 1 strike on you. 1-1. Foul outside third and by Dave Bristol. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count.
It will not be easy for Philadelphia now. McGregor's moving that ball around, and he seems to have excellent control today up to right up through the first 3 innings.
That was the important aspect of fixing that mound to his liking. The placement of the foot affects his control.
Again, a ball and 2 strikes on Mike Schmidt. McGregor has pitched well in postseason, won 18 in the regular year, but in postseason play, he's lost twice. In fact, the only 2 games Baltimore has lost. He pitched very well against Lamar Hoyt in Game 1 and lost in the playoffs, and then got beat 2-1 in Game 1 of the series.
But the thing about McGregor is it doesn't bother him. He's just a professional, goes out next game. Another game tomorrow.
Little squiver on a check swing. Still a ball and 2 strikes on Schmidt with Matthews and Perez following.
Dempsey's agility will never continue to amaze me. The ball went down on the ground. He had the mask off, jumped out of there, grabbed it with his bare hand before it had a chance to go back down a second time. Well, foul ball.
Pressure is enormous on the Reds now to do something, and it's got to be a lot and do it quickly.
Ground ball to third. Cruz up with it, fires across, and that's the first ground ball out. Another serenade for Mike Schmidt. That's what happens to you when you're 1 for 18. McGregor on the turf. Talked about his proficiency on the turf this season. His success on the road. He's got a 4-0 lead.
I think I said the Reds, Al. Every time you look at this team and see Rose, Perez.
Absolutely. Morgan.
Tony Morgan.
Morgan.
Joe Morgan.
0-1 pitch. Swinging another fellow would be Dave Bristol, who's the third base coach and the former manager of the Reds.
Right.
Back in the late 60s. In fact, a little interesting irony with Bristol and Altobelli as Matthews strikes out. So that's 4 strikeouts. When Joe Altobelli was fired as the manager of the Giants in '79, Dave Bristol, who's now the third base coach in Philadelphia, took over for him.
Basic difference between these two teams, in one sense, is lodged in the way they're each constructed. The Phils, a team brought together from many sources.
Strike to Perez.
The Birds, a team carefully built through the years, situation players, certain positions, to meet situations during a game.
A lot of homegrown talent.
That's correct.
And a lot of stability. 15 of the Orioles were on the '79 American League Championship team, whereas the Phillies have had tremendous turnover. Only 7 of the 25 that won it in 1980, the year after the Orioles, are still here.
Yeah, and the 15 that went through the 1979 know that just because it's 3-1 and just because the score is 4-0, it's not over.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Perez.
But it's getting tougher and tougher.
For the Phillies.
2 out, no one on. We're at the bottom of the 4th inning. 4-0 Baltimore.
Big day for the Huskers yesterday, Al.
I see what our guy Irving Fryer did yesterday.
2 TDs.
Foul back. 2-2.
I'll tell you, he's a horse.
Just a horse?
Oh, a horse and a half.
That's what I would figure.
Scotty McGregor's making it tough on Perez. He hadn't given him 2 consecutive pitches in the same spot in any at-bat.
In the air to deep center field, the deepest part of the park, though, and it's about a 395-foot out. Bunbury hauling it in. 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the 5th still. Baltimore 4, Philadelphia nothing.
Now, I don't want to say business is bad, but I feel like we're closed.
Oh, but a good book, Dad.
Bell Yellow Pages?
The book that talks to people whose fingers do the walking.
Pete's for sports. Team uniforms are a specialty.
Now, Pete, he's got a great business.
Oh, sure, he's in the Yellow Pages where customers can find him. How'd you like to be that busy?
I'd like it. I'd like it.
Get the Yellow Pages talking.
You're safe with us.
Let your fingers do the walking.
I may have to start locking people out.
Chevrolet, taking charge.
4 years ago, we introduced Chevy Citation, and it became America's most popular front-drive car. But that wasn't good enough for the engineers. Since that time, they've improved its performance, improved its ride, improved its comfort. And after making so many engineering refinements, we made one more change. The name. Announcing Chevy Citation 2.
Chevrolet.
And you.
Taking charge. What keeps America going on a freezing day? Presto. What brings football fans up to Green Bay? Presto.
A radiator could look this bad after just 10,000 miles of driving on weak, neglected antifreeze, while the Prestone radiator looks this good. That's the Prestone difference. Now go with Prestone and save. Buy 2 gallons right now, and we'll send you $2 back by mail.
America saves with Prestone.
Tomorrow, catch those irresistible, incredible kids. Meet America's fastest 8-year-old sprinter. And jump high for a steeplechase on That's Incredible. Tomorrow at 8, 7 Central.
5th inning, Rick Dempsey to lead things off. Then McGregor and Bunbury against Hudson. 4-0. Baltimore leading it. And Dempsey, who hit a home run his first time up, may have another one. That drive is off the wall and pitching back to Matthews, and he settles for a double. And the crowd wants Hudson out of there.
I can't believe Hudson's in there myself.
Well, I think Owens might have been trying to get one more inning with the bottom of the Oriole order coming up, but the bottom of the Oriole order has been powerful. Dempsey got all of this. Dempsey got all of this pitch, and it's right at the bottom of the wall. Could have been another solo homer.
I'll tell you something. He's having a great series, proving what a great clutch player he is.
Loves the tough situations.
Well, Bystrom is in the bullpen. Owens out at the mound with Dempsey at second base, and the call has already gone out. Now, Bystrom was up before and had just gotten up again, and he'll be coming in with nobody out in the fifth inning. Meanwhile, while the new pitcher comes in, let's check in with Jim Lampley in New York.
Thanks, Al. Quickly, let's get up to date on what's happening in pro football. First, in the AFC East, we told you earlier that Miami beat the Jets 32-14. Buffalo closed out Baltimore 30-7. So with Buffalo's victory, they take over sole ownership of the lead in the American Football Conference East. Now, games in progress at this moment. The New York Giants are in Kansas City to play against the Chiefs. It is 17-10 Giants in the third quarter. Rob Carpenter with a touchdown catch and a big catch to set up a touchdown in the first half. Bartkowski is having a big day as Atlanta leads the Rams in Anaheim 21-7 in the third quarter. Cincinnati and Denver, that game is now tied up at 17-17. Randy Horton just went in from 55 yards out with an interception return for Cincinnati to tie it up at 17-all. Philadelphia and the Cowboys, Danny White is having a big day. 2 touchdown passes to Doug Cosby, and White just benefited from a touchdown run by Tony Dorsett. Dallas currently leads the Eagles 30-7. Seattle and Los Angeles, it is 21-17. Seattle has come from down 17-7. They just went ahead in the ball game 21-17. Now let's go right back to Al Michaels. Well, before we go back to Al for more of the World Series, let's go to this commercial message.
Hey, OJ, I know people go to Hertz for terrific service. But off the record, where do you go for a terrific price? Hertz. Come on, you can level with me.
Arnie, Hertz prices are lower than you think. And now with their new low daily economy fares, their prices are competitive with anybody's.
Anybody's?
You got it, Arnie.
I wish I could say the same for you, OJ.
Hertz, the #1 way to rent a car.
I mortgaged my house to get my first tug. Believe me, the Jeannie T needed plenty of work.
Good night, Skipper.
Today, I own 2 others just like her, because we give our customers a good, honest pull for the money, and that pays off. People who make Meisterbrow work the same way. These days, I can pick any beer I want. This tastes as good as Budweiser, and it doesn't cost as much. Gentlemen, the drinking lamp is lit.
Introducing Meisterbrow. Tastes as good as Budweiser at a better price.
Kodak introduces the extraordinary Kodamatic Trim Print Instant Color Film. Unlike an ordinary instant print, the extraordinary trim print lets you lift off the image to capture the color just the way you like it. And now look how slim I am. Here I am. I slip into places the ordinary bulky instant picture doesn't fit.
He didn't tell you. Trim print is only for Kodamatic instant cameras. What?
You didn't tell him it's only from Kodak.
Extraordinary trim print.
Michaels, Howard Cosell, Earl Weaver with you as Marty Bystrom comes in the 5th inning. Baltimore leading at 4-0. There's Hudson, so he's gone. He goes 4+, trails 4-0. And McGregor is at the plate with a man at second. The bunt play is on as he fouls it away.
Well, you've got a quick glimpse of Charles Hudson, and he's in sore chagrin at the moment. But he can be proud of the rookie year he had. And he should not soon forget his brilliant victory over the Dodgers when so it counted to get the Phils here.
That probably doesn't help right now, Howard, but he'll think about those exact words that you said.
Foul to the plate by McGregor, and it's 0-2.
During the course of the winter.
So he comes out. The pitcher is due up 4th pitcher spot when the Phillies bat at the bottom of the 5th. Keep this thing in mind about Bystrom, too. He didn't pitch in the playoffs, hasn't pitched in the series. He hasn't pitched in a game since 2 weeks ago yesterday, October the 1st.
And that can be very bothersome as far as control is concerned.
Bunted with with 2 strikes. Diaz, and he can't make the play with Dempsey holding at second. Diaz looked up and might have been surprised that Dempsey was still at second base. Rick wasn't moving, and now McGregor's at first.
Again, it was the same old bugaboo of taking your eye off the ball. 2-strike sacrifice. Amazing that Scotty McGregor could get it down. Now, Dempsey did not break. Bo picks it up, looks at second. We saw him look at second, and as a result, he never got a good grip on that ball. From up above, we can see that Dempsey was going to start. Diaz, he stopped. Diaz got a good jump on the ball. That's what made Dempsey stop. But the look is what caused Diaz not to get a good grip on the ball, and we're in another sacrifice situation. If the Philadelphia Phillies will have certain bunt plays in this situation. Smith could be charging. Perez could be charging at first base, or both of them charge. And the signals got crossed. There was a pickoff play signaled far.
They sure did.
Philadelphia is unraveled.
Well, here comes Morgan, and if anybody settles down the infield, especially with Rose in the outfield, it's Morgan. Joe is just walking in as if to say, hey, wait a minute, let's take it easy here and get together. Now, what happened? Let's make sure we have it straight. You saw him do it in the playoffs, too, to Hudson that day. The steadying force, and the Phillies are very fortunate that ball didn't wind up in center field as Bynstrom held onto it.
That's right. And the strategy of the game, the bunt situation can shift right now. In fact, Joe Altobelli, seeing that, might let Bunbury hit.
He's up there to bunt. That gets by Diaz, and the runners will advance to second and third. So the Phillies still apart at the seams. They're in the 5th inning, and they're hearing it.
Well, we got a good ball club in the Phillies out on the field, a ball club that had a very hot September. They were due a cold streak, and they're definitely not playing good baseball right now.
Runners at second and third. You have no choice here. That scored a wild pitch. You have no choice but to play your infield in. You're down 4-0 in the 5th game of the World Series in the 5th inning. You can't allow another run. 2-0. Little looper hit foul down the left field line on the count 2-1.
And the Philadelphia outfield defense has now shifted pretty much to left field.
Runners at second and third. You can see the infield. De Jesus has moved back to halfway at short. And Bunbury hits it in the air to left field, deep enough to at least score a run as Matthews makes the catch. And Dempsey tags at third and makes it 5-0. 5-0 Baltimore, and only 1 out in the 5th inning. And Danny Ford is coming up with McGregor at second base.
Watching Dempsey cross the plate, Al, you realize that cookie has 5 hits in the series, 1 home run, 4 doubles, not even a single. 4 doubles and 5 extra base hits. Hitting like Jackson.
Doubles Dempsey.
Some years back.
Ford lifts it in the air down the right field line. That could be trouble, and it's just foul. Just foul. Frank Pulley, the right field umpire. Well, you're talking about Dempsey's hitting prowess, and of course what goes unstated is the fact he's the man back of the plate for the Baltimore pitchers. And how do you put that in the box score, what he's meant in this series defensively?
Defensively, he's just outstanding. He always has been. There's the ball down the right field line, and we'll be able to see just how close this ball was. That would have been 6-0 with a man on second base.
Rick Dempsey.
There he is.
Getting ready to go back to the other office now.
Still with the thoughts of 1979 in their minds. They're not in a hurry to get this over. They want to get all the runs they can get.
1-1 account. 2 strikes.
Good pitch. Curveball. Broke away. Caught the outside corner.
Very good pitch. Get to see it again. Center of the plate out.
And could do nothing but that.
And Ford fouls it back. Still a ball and 2 strikes to count.
Making a tough on Ford. Curveball away and fastball in.
Almost silent in this ballpark right now.
Hallelujah! Praise the Lord!
Disappointed Philly fans at this stage of the game.
Read the Bible, Howard!
2 balls, 2 strikes, and reflecting the mood around here.
Not a group of happy fellas.
Well, you have to work so hard to get yourself here. What a disappointment.
That's grounded to the left side. De Jesus throws to first. And with 2 down now, a look at the Baltimore bench.
Again, they don't look like they're in any hurry. They're rooting. They're not getting excited yet.
So Ripken comes up. Fly to left in the first, drew the walk in the 4th inning that preceded the home run by Eddie Murray. Murray's hit 2 today. Dempsey's hit 1. Baltimore leads it 5-0. Ripken gets backed off. 1 ball, no strikes to count. McGregor at second. Bystrom in relief of Hudson.
That was a good cut. Cal Ripken's had a good series at shortstop. He's a good steady ball player. No outstanding plays during these 5 ball games. A couple good plays, but he's capable of making the outstanding plays there. Not a real good series for him offensively up till now, but I bet you he's happy.
3 for 16, and as you say, hasn't done anything spectacular, but hasn't done anything at all to hurt the Orioles. Breaking pitch, and a dandy in the count. 1 ball. And well, that's I guess that's one of the problems you're going to have when you've made an error in the inning and you let another ball get by that was scoring a wild pitch, and his concentration wavering a bit.
Frustration. He thought it was strike 3. I don't know where he missed a pitch in the count.
I don't know either. But poor Bo had been having such a good series until today.
Ball, 2 strikes. Two and 2. Of course, if that happens on April the 22nd in San Diego, nobody ever notices. But now we'll hear about it all winter long.
Yes, you will. And as Howard mentioned, he had a great series up till this inning. Just about.
That's grounded, just fouled outside third, so it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes on Cal Ripken. McGregor going back to second. Again, the American League MVP award to be announced in a couple of weeks. Ripken had a great year. If he doesn't win it, maybe it's because the votes were split between he and his teammate, Eddie Murray. When you've got 2 guys that good on the same team, but Jim Rice could
That's right.
in.
That's the real possibility, and that's, I think, Jim Rice, who had a tremendous year. That's his hope of winning it.
Really, it should be very, very close in the balloting this year. There was no clear-cut winner, or shouldn't be. And that's called strike 3. So Bystrom comes in to do the job, but a run and a hit and an error and a man left and in for 4.5. It's Baltimore 5, Philadelphia nothing. Back after this word for our local stations.
Tonight.
She's an ex-hooker. Codename Black Widow.
I'd like to see you.
Mark falls for a deadly lady.
You're right, sir.
And he's next on her list.
Next guy comes on you is a dead man.
Hardcastle and McCormick.
So what are you doing with this?
Tonight after the World Series.
Across America, 7-Eleven gives shopping freedom to doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, and little braves. Freedom to people who would rather cast a line than wait in one. Freedom to cooks, carpenters, corporate chiefs. To people who gulp and people who slurp. Freedom to people in the spotlight, people who need a light. To butchers, bakers, men in blue. Freedom to people in a hurry. 7-Eleven has built a business based on freedom. So now we're proud to be a major sponsor of the 1984 U.S. Olympic team. And we're helping to give those that run, jump, dive, swim, and ride the freedom to pursue their dream of becoming the best. 7-Eleven, the dream begins with freedom.
Douglas High graduates, Monday at 7:30.
Will take the first steps of what will feel like a lifetime. The New York City Marathon, live next Sunday on ABC.
That is really a gorgeous shot. Sunset, Philadelphia. Veterans Stadium, looking on. And of course, around the World Series is televised. 18 different countries, plus Puerto Rico. Estimated over 100 million viewers watching. Australia, the Bahamas, Guatemala, Italy, Japan taking the feed, of course. Mexico, some of the countries looking in. And they have watched around the world. Baltimore leading 5-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. With Gary Maddox taking a strike, 1-1. Maddox, Diaz, and De Jesus in the bottom of the 5th inning. Maddox lifts it in the air to right center, and that will fall in for a base hit. So it's a big mountain to climb, but you got to start it someplace. A single by Maddox here in the 5th inning.
This time he went right with it out to right center field. Base hit, and Phillies might have something started.
Bo Diaz comes up.
Well, McGregor spent a long time on the base paths. You think that'll have any effect?
Always when there's a long inning, Howard, pitcher stiffens up a little bit. And sometimes in taking his 8 warm-up tosses in between innings, he should ask for a few extra. Takes him a hitter or two sometimes to get loose.
1 ball, no strikes on Bo Diaz. Bottom of the 5th inning. Maddox at first base. 2-0 to count. Diaz is the number 7 hitter. And it's 3-0.
Evidently, it's had an effect. Joe Altobelli has a few to play with, but I don't think he'll wait too long.
And ball 4. So, all of a sudden, silent Veterans Stadium becomes quite noisy. Runners at first and second and nobody out, and Avante Jesus coming up.
Well, 4 straight balls is way out of character.
Very unlike McGregor. 4 straight balls, his second walk of the game, and he's only into the 5th inning. He's only gone 4 innings.
Rick Dempsey and Eddie Murray both out there in a hurry to talk to him, too.
So De Jesus comes up. And in the bullpen, that's Dennis Martinez, who for years has been in the rotation but had a terrible year and hasn't pitched in postseason play, and he's the long man today.
Yes, he is, and I talked to him before the ball game, and he definitely wants a chance. He wants to see his team win without him, but he would welcome the opportunity to get in the ball game.
When you're down 5-0, it sort of eliminates the bunt possibility here. Not totally, but the Orioles are not expecting it. He's up there to swing away. Short hop by Cruz to Dower to Murray, and a double play.
What a play by Cruz.
And that's why he's in the lineup despite hitting 199 during the regular season.
That was an outstanding play, and again, You have to use an old cliche, a game of inches. If that ball's 12 inches to the left, here we get to see it again. The ball's well hit. Cruz off, short hop. Hesitated, give Dower a pretty good throw. Ball was hit hard, plenty of time to get two, but I say 12 inches, and that ball's into left field. There's one run in and two men still on base.
Juan Samuel will now come up to pinch hit for Bystrom in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Just the briefest fraction of a second, Al, you saw Cruz hesitate because of the on-rushing base runner, but kept his poise and reacted promptly, knowing he could execute the double play.
Willie Hernandez is in the Philadelphia bullpen, and he'll be the man to come in the top of the 6th inning. There he is, the left-handed throwing. Runner at third now, and Samuel goes after the first pitch and doesn't get it. Samuel spent most of the season in the minors at Portland. He is the heir apparent to Joe Morgan at second base. And it's 0-2. 5-0 Orioles in the bottom of the 5th inning with 2 down. There's the runner Maddox at third.
McGregor got the ground ball when he needed it.
Yes,
the fly ball pitcher.
0-2 pitch. Weakly hit foul outside third. 0-2 the count.
With that excellent control, you can go up in the strike zone when you want, down in the strike zone when you want, away from the hitter when you want, and that's what makes a winning pitcher. Two men on base, and that fly ball happens to go a little further than you want, and all of a sudden it's 5-3.
Right. Samuel has good speed and hits it high in the air to left center field, relatively deep but very playable, and Bunbury makes the catch. And so the inning that starts so promisingly for the Phillies ends with a fizzle, and at the end of 5-0 Orioles.
If you're a smoker, inside this little can is a legitimate alternative. Introducing Skoal Bandits, an individual portion of wintergreen flavored tobacco in a neat, pre-moistened pouch. What you do is put one between your lip and gum. What you get is great tobacco taste without lighting up, and you can enjoy it wherever you are. If you're a smoker, try new Skoal Bandits. 20 pouches to a can. Take a pouch instead of a puff.
One computer company has been shaping the way business does business for 99 years, NCR. Today, NCR High Technology puts computer power where business needs it most. From the powerful NCR personal computer, Decision Mate 5, to the awesome power of the 9300, the world's first full 32-bit VLSI mainframe for business. NCR, shaping the way business does business.
It begins as a dream, a quest for a moment of Olympic glory reserved for the very few. At Transamerica Insurance and Transamerica Occidental Life, we're supporting the dreams of every athlete by insuring the Olympic Games. Because our business is insuring people's dreams. Transamerica, insurance, finance, manufacturing, transportation, innovation. The power of the pyramid is working for you.
No one can imitate Peter Jennings, and he is not obliged to imitate anyone.
Weeknights, ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. The difference can be distinguished.
Eddie Murray, and he's been the big man today. The 2 swings on his 2 home runs, and there hasn't been a question about either one as he comes to the plate in the top of the 6th inning to lead things off for the Orioles, who lead 5-0. Murray, Lowenstein, and Dower with Willie Hernandez, the new pitcher. He's the man who hit Dan Ford the other night, left-hander who came over from the Cubs, who was originally signed by the Phillies back in the early 70s.
2 homers in 1 game. World Series game. Last play to do that, Willie McGee. Last year, that's Eddie Murray's dad, Charles Murray. Willie McGee, last year, against the Brewers, Game 3.
This is the first time that Murray has come up right-handed in the game. 1-1 the count. Earl, what about his power right-handed versus
just
left-handed?
as much power right-handed as he does left-handed.
Terrific power right-handed.
What a weapon a switch hitter gives you in the center of the lineup. And when I was fortunate enough to be managing the Orioles, we had Kenny Singleton, a switch hitter, and Eddie Murray hitting 3-4 or 4-5.
And that one is hit deep but very foul. Foul by plenty, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Hernandez had something off of that pitch, and that's why Eddie Murray got out in front of him.
They were derisively chanting Eddie, Eddie here with his problems the last 2 days, but not today.
They won't be chanting this winner.
1 out. And Lowenstein coming up. And instead of Lowenstein, of course, it'll be Renicky here now pinch hitting. As Altobelli goes to the bench.
Altobelli hasn't missed a trick in this World Series. He has really been an aggressive manager, forcing the opposition every step of the way.
He can afford to certainly right now. Renicky takes a strike, 0-1.
And there's Joe Altobelli. That's the first time we've seen him smile during the series.
Well, he's feeling a little bit good, don't you think?
I would have to think so.
1-1.
Getting back to Renicky, and not to belittle John Lowenstein's catch earlier in the season, but Gary Renicky is a fine defensive outfielder with a very, very good arm.
So you're saying you'd rather have Renicky out there than Lowenstein?
To a certain extent, yes.
But we discussed yesterday, as you look at Lowenstein, the possibility of Renicky being used at third next year, and you agreed that that would be a great power increment. Fire Giles, keep Pete. They mean Bill Giles, one of the finest young executives in baseball. Reared in the game, his father, the late Warren Giles, long-term president of the National League.
And Giles probably had no say whatsoever as to whether Rose was going to be in that ball game or not.
True, too. Well, I think they're referring to the fact that there's a lot of speculation that Pete's going to be done here after this year. It's up to Giles to decide if he wants him or not.
Well, he was forthright in the pregame talk with me 2 nights ago. Said, give Pete the option, but if Pete wants to play every game every day, it's not likely he'll stay.
That's exactly what he said.
He has to run the ball club as he sees it, period. And nobody admires and respects Pete Rose more than I do. Nobody.
Also a good deal of speculation that if Rose does go, he may wind up back in Cincinnati. Swung on and missed. Hernandez throws Renicky a screwball to strike him out. And with 2 down, we'll take a look at Dower.
Got both strikeouts on that screwball. Off-speed pitch. Both Murray and Renicky both were out in front.
By the way, it wasn't Giles who benched Pete Rose.
I know that.
It was Paul Owens.
Yes, that's what I said.
Dower has flied out twice today. Overall, he's 3 for 17, so he's not having a real good series. But the 3 hits all came yesterday when they needed them. Half swing grounder to first, and Tony Perez takes charge, flips to Hernandez, and Willie comes out of the bullpen to set the Orioles down 1-2-3. So the Phils come up in the bottom of the 6th, 5-0. Baltimore in Game 5.
You're the umpire, as in television presents You Make the Call. A batter loses his balance after a swing and accidentally falls into the catcher, disrupting an attempt to throw out a base runner at first. Is the batter out? You make the call.
Finding the best video game system is a tough game to win. Who plays the most games, the best-selling games? In Television 2, add the new system changer and play all Atari 2600 games. The most games, the best-selling games, like Hubert, Enduro, Burger Time. In Television 2 has the most going for it. More games than Atari and Coleco. Over 430 games. Get in Television 2. It's got the most going for it.
Because the batter did not intentionally fall into the catcher as he was throwing, no interference is called. So if you said the batter was not out, then you made the right call.
Here comes the hottest selling Chevrolet today. The fun-to-drive front-drive Cavalier. Fire up 2 liters of electronically fuel-injected fun and experience more horsepower than the top 3 imports. The minute you feel Cavalier perform, you'll know what makes Cavalier the hottest selling Chevrolet today. Chevrolet! And you. Taking charge.
Last year's Super Bowl champion Redskins are out to prove they can do it again. Tomorrow, they tackle the Packers with All-Pro wide receiver James Lofton on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Just a spectacular shot. Veterans Stadium in the sunset. In Philadelphia, where it's 5-0. Gary Renicky, of course, stays in the game. That's in the number 5 spot. He pinch hit for Lowenstein. He's in left field as the Phillies come up with the top of the order in the bottom of the 6th inning to face McGregor. It's Morgan, Rose, and Schmidt. Morgan has struck out and walked. He is 4 for 17 in the series.
Phillies need base runners now.
Rip foul. Two hits for the Phillies, both singles. Rose in the 1st. Maddox a looping single in the 5th. That's it. It's fisted and pops it up. Back of second, and Ripken is there. 1 out. Pete Rose coming up. Howard talked to him earlier about overrating the Orioles. Was it possible?
I don't know if it's underrating the opposition. I think what's happening is we're just sitting around waiting for things to happen instead of making things happen. And we've been making things happen this year when we've been successful. And we just got to quit talking about the fact that we think we're better in Baltimore and go out and show we're better in Baltimore.
Said overrating leading in, of course, meaning underrate the Baltimore Orioles. 0-1 the count on Rose.
Quickly, some up-to-date football scores. Cowboys 37, Eagles 7, 4th quarter. As you look at Pete, and the Raiders trailing Seattle 24-22, 4th quarter.
Shot foul by Rose, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes.
And Kansas City is giving it to the Giants 31-17, 4th quarter. Rams have tied the Falcons at 21 in the 4th quarter. Updated.
To right field. Who else but Pete? To try to get something started again. 2 hits for him today.
He's too much. You see him work that, push that ball right where he wanted.
Tell you the truth, Howard, Scotty got 2 quick strikes on him. He tried to go up and out of the strike zone just to waste the pitch, and Pete standing on
went right with it and popped right with the pitch.
Mike Schmidt, the bat. I love Pete. Pete's always thinking, had you seen him throughout the playoffs, been watching Pete the past couple of weeks, he'll get aboard, he'll put up 1 finger or 2. He's letting the coaches know he knows. I know how many outs there are, he's saying.
Look at him. Do you think there's any quitting, Rose? Never.
Schmidt takes outside, ball 1. Want to know, Pete again reinforcing it. He said, yep, I know, confirmed, 1 out.
Wake this crowd up. Good.
Foul back, 1-1. Mike Schmidt, the MVP in the 1980 World Series, and 1 for 18 in this one.
Philadelphia's played poorly up to this point in this ball game, but if Mike Schmidt could hit one, they'd have Baltimore thinking.
Philadelphia's played shabbily.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Hudson was rocked, probably left in too long. Bo Diaz, to use your very word, came unraveled.
Yeah, Hudson may put too many of them right down the middle in this ball game.
To the count on Schmidt.
Pattern here, with what Scotty's been following, is in and out with Schmidt and the fastball up. They know that Schmidt is a notoriously good low ball hitter, so it would be strange to me if he got the ground ball here. That changeup he wasted was way up and out of the strike zone.
Pops it up in foul ground. Dempsey coming back, but it's back out of play. Not a lot of room in foul territory here, fortunately for Schmidt in that instance.
Not a happy day for Philly sports fans, with the Cowboys shelling the Eagles 37-7, and the Phils coming down to an in extremis position.
Well, who do the Flyers play tonight?
Check. Rangers.
Rangers, huh? Schmidt pops it up, back of third. That one may be playable for Cruz, who leans in but can't make the catch, and he wasn't going to get any help either. Not here.
None whatsoever. He had trouble getting into the first row. Usually a ball player can reach to the third row. There it went up. He's right on the rail, but he's not going to get close. Everybody's over there wanting a souvenir.
He could have caught that ball if there hadn't been that fan action.
Well, if Schmidt hits one here, it'll mean something.
Yeah, it'll mean they're losing 5-2.
All right. 2 runs closer, though, Howard.
Pete Rose at first base, 1 out of the 6th inning. And he strikes out. Dempsey holds the foul tip.
They stayed up in the strike zone with Schmidt through the whole series and had success. See it again. He's not a power pitcher. That's a fastball. Because of his good breaking stuff, went right by Schmidt.
Matthews at the plate. Shatters his back, grounds it down to Cruz, goes the short way to Dower. And Rose gets a single, and that's that in the 6th inning. On to the 7th at the bed. Baltimore 5, and the Phillies nothing.
When people pump their own gas, they sometimes forget to check things. So when they come in for service...
Mr. Goodwrench, there's something wrong.
Well, let's take a look.
Mr. Goodwrench knows your GM car. He has the right tools and the right GM training available to spot your problems fast.
Mr. Goodwrench?
Nothing serious. Just needs a tune-up. By the way, your oil is low. Here's how to check.
That great GM feeling.
With Mr. Goodwrench.
With genuine GM parts.
I've got an unfair advantage over these guys. My looks? Are you kidding? I've got the Gillette Atra. They don't. It's got the advantage of a pivoting head. Atra's better than twin blade razors that don't pivot. See, they don't always stay on my beard, but my Atra pivots to keep both blades on my beard longer. I get a better shave. See? Close. Comfortable.
Get the Gillette Atra and get the Atra advantage.
So who said life was fair?
All right, children. Who's going to be the first one to recite the alphabet? How about you, Ann?
A, B, C, D, E, F, E, F, E, F, Hudson.
When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen.
Tonight, Stallone. This time he's fighting for his life. Nighthawks, tonight after Hardcastle and McCormick. Parental discretion advised.
Another magnificent shot of Veterans Stadium from the blimp, which you see in the left corner of your screen. We're approaching, if this thing ends this way, MVP time. Time for Reggie Jackson to go out on a limb. If you had a vote now, who would you vote for?
Well, I don't think you have to really go out on the limb for it, Howard. I think right now it's fairly clear that maybe a few other fellows in the running, like a Martinez or a Stewart, but I like Rick Dempsey.
So do I.
And if you're looking at me right at this time, he gets my vote.
Todd Cruz leads off in the 7th inning.
And you, Al?
I think I got to make us a gang of 4.
Okay. We only get one vote among us, but that's good enough for me.
1-1.
You could give it to Alabelli, but the rules don't allow it.
Yep. One and two the count.
Hernandez is showing us a real good off-speed screwball. However, the horse might be out of the barn.
2 balls and 2 strikes. It's 5-0. The Orioles got a run in the second on Murray's homer, another in the third on Dempsey's homer, 2 in the fourth on a walk to Ripken and Murray's second home run. Then in the fifth, a double by Dempsey, the third on a wild pitch, and home on a fly ball by Bumbry. 5 runs, 4 hits, and no errors for Baltimore. Softly hit to third, charged by Schmidt and barehanded, and he just does get him. Mike was deep and the ball was slowly hit. So instead of thinking about the transfer, he barehands. Some Baltimore fans, of course, are here. Baltimore only 95 miles to the south. As we look again at Schmidt's play.
Schmidt hasn't hit, but he's shown us what he could do defensively in this series.
Dempsey takes low, ball 1. There are the numbers graphically illustrated for Dempsey.
This is a remarkable thing Dempsey has done, and that graphic proves it. Look at the record for most extra base hits in a 5-game series, including the likes of Elston Allen and Don Clendenin and Brooks Robinson. But already, Dempsey has 5.
1-2 the count.
So if the series ends tonight, as it appears it will, he will have set a new record for extra base hits for a 5-game series. 1 homer, 4 doubles. Yep, my MVP.
And he surpassed some pretty good names on that graphic.
Not only that, but this year he led American League catches and fielding percent. Only 2 errors in 127 games, percent of .997, and only 1 passed ball as you look at them putting it up right now.
3-2 the count on Dempsey.
And he's not a horse.
He is a double horse today. 5-0 the Orioles. 1 out. High in the air to left field. Matthews tells Maddox he'll handle it. And with 2 down, we'll take a look at McGregor. Tomorrow, Redskins and Packers on Monday Night Football. 9 Eastern time. You going to Green Bay if this ends, Coach?
No way. Going to bed.
Okay.
I love Green Bay. I love St. Norbert's College in De Pere, Wisconsin. I'm going to bed.
Grounded down to Morgan. And so Hernandez has come out of the bullpen and done his job. He set down the 6 he's faced. Phillies come up 5-0 back after this word from your local stations.
Tonight,
Oh, I'd like to see you.
Mark falls for a deadly lady.
You rang, sir.
Hardcastle and McCormick. Then, Stallone. This time he's fighting for his life.
I'm gonna kill that stinking pig.
Nighthawks, a network television premiere. Parental discretion advised. Tonight, all following the World Series.
This is the moment when you need the quick response and smooth acceleration that comes from Exxon unleaded regular gasoline. It has higher octane than most other unleaded regulars to help free your engine from knocking and pinging. And for even more octane, try Exxon Extra Unleaded. When the moment demands performance, get Exxon. Quality you can count on.
Your Lincoln
Lincoln Mercury dealers have a commitment, and the commitment is to quality.
And for 1984, the Lincoln Mercury commitment to quality shows everywhere.
The 1984 Mercury Cougar, success breeds success.
That's why Cougar sales are up dramatically.
Choose now from our large inventory.
Get great trade-in allowances.
Negotiate with your dealer for its best price.
Mercury Cougar.
With cars like this and a commitment to quality like ours, no wonder sales are up.
The Lincoln Mercury commitment to quality.
At the sign of the cat.
Weekend highlights and scores tonight.
Eusebio Pedrosa in his 17th title defense takes on gutsy Jose Cava, the WBA World Featherweight Championship, when ABC's Wide World of Sports returns Saturday.
Well, the Goodyear blimp as the lights have taken full effect now in the stadium. A look down. Sun is gone. And right now the Phillies' chances are very dim as well. They trail 5-0 with Tony Perez to lead off in the bottom of the 7th inning. Perez, Maddox, and Diaz against Scott McGregor, who's allowed 3 singles through 6. 0-1 on Perez. Struck out, fly to center.
Strikes are Scotty McGregor's main concern right now, and that's exactly what he's come out doing in the 7th inning.
One and 2. McGregor has walked 2 today and struck out 5. Ball strike 3.
Every pitch low. Did you see that, Earl?
Every pitch.
Every one.
Tony Perez didn't like it.
Well, he just sums up the frustration of the whole ball club right there.
Well,
we get to see Tony turned around. It's a borderline pitch, one that Scott McGregor just wanted to throw. It could be called either way, and look at Tony Perez.
Maddox hits it in the air to deep left center field. Bunbury got a good jump on it, and it's off the wall as Al has to play the carom, and Maddox has a double. So the 4th hit and the first extra base hit for Philadelphia. A man at second and 1 out. Rose has 2 hits and Maddox has the other pair.
I'll be darned. Raiders are about to lose to Seattle. They're trailing 38-22 late in the 3rd quarter. That's a football upset.
Bo Diaz fouled out, drew a walk. He's 5 for 14 in the series. 0-1.
No action in the Oriole bullpen as of yet.
Hits, 6 in the 3rd innings. Would you have action going? 5-run lead.
I'd have a little thoughts in my mind that Scott McGregor might be getting tired. However, a good move by Altobelli was also giving this man that extra day's rest, going on proper rest.
2 strikes on Diaz. And he pops it up, and it's playable for Dempsey. Fully taking charge, 2 out.
There is no way you can give enough credit to McGregor. He changed his pitching pattern against Diaz right there. He'd been pitching him low, came up high, and Bo was off balance, actually, when he swung at the ball. Lost the pop out.
We get to see it one more time there. We'll see just how high the pitch was, almost out of the strike zone.
2 out. And Ivan De Jesus at the plate. Fly to right, hit into a double play, and that was a huge play because it quelled any semblance of a Philadelphia rally today. They had 1st and 2nd and nobody out in the bottom of the 5th inning as Morgan waits on deck. Actually, Morgan is out there to occupy the on-deck circle because the pitcher spot is due up next. Technically, you're not allowed to do that, but Palermo's letting him sit out there anyway right now.
Well, that keeps Altobelli from knowing who the pinch hitter's going to be.
Oh, he could probably figure it out if he thought hard enough anyway. 2-1 the count. We mentioned Lescano before as a possible pinch hitter. Part of the reason he's not in the lineup today, the finger contusion affecting his throwing more than his hitting. Owens thinks he can use him for one at-bat if need be. 2-2 on De Jesus. And in fact, Lescano has now come out into the on-deck circle if De Jesus gets aboard. There's Sixto. Grounded to Cruz. And throws a strike to Murray. So they waste a double by Maddox. And at the end of 7, still Orioles 5, Phillies nothing.
Taking charge. Make your move to Chevrolet's new Celebrity. Move into the comfort of more passenger room than 91 out of 95 import cars. Move into Celebrity and the traction of front drive. Try to find any other front drive automobile that gives you more passenger room for less. Chevrolet. And you. Taking charge.
People might give you their trust once, but after that, it must be earned. That's why we at Emory are proud to be the overnight delivery service so often relied on to deliver in the clutch.
Not bad. Maybe you could use a little pine tar. Thanks.
Emory, we've earned the trust of American business.
Baseball fever. Catch it. It lasts forever.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Tonight. Codename Black Widow. Every man she touches dies.
Oh, I'd like to see you.
And Hardcastle and McCormick are next on her list. Tonight, after the World Series.
We're going to the 8th inning.
Well, there may be another crack in that Liberty Bell after tonight. Shelby up.
Shelby to pinch hit. In Bumpy's spot here as we go to the 8th inning, a 5-0-1.
Earl, I mean absolutely no offense in what I'm about to say. But Joe Altobelli has managed as fine a World Series as anybody could have. Putting up Shelby now, as you look at a swinging strike, he is improving his offense in place of Bunbury, getting the right-hander in there, and improves his defense at the same time. He has made every right move. He has thought everything through. He has made the moves at exactly the right time. His anticipation has been superb. A foul strike, too. I hope you agree.
I agree with you 100%, Howard, and that's why I said there's Edward Bennett Williams, who's going to be a very happy man. But that's why I said in the pregame show that he deserves this World Championship. He hasn't only made the right moves in the World Series, but did it throughout a 162-game schedule and also the playoffs.
And he did it, and let's face it, Earl, and you can't say it, under very difficult circumstances. Not because you're just sitting up here. Everybody knows it. Earl Weaver, a legend in Baltimore. Very tough shoes to fill, obviously. And Alto had really nowhere to go but down in a way.
And Joe admitted it. We never had the opportunity to play that interview that I did with Joe, in which he said, I knew I was succeeding a legend, and it did trouble me.
And wherever he went this year, the same question. Can you imagine being asked 10,000 times at least?
I couldn't have stood that, no.
Shelby hits it in the air to shallow left center field. Maddox coming in with Matthews. And it's Maddox for the catch. So Shelby is gone, and he'll be staying in the game in center, and Danny Ford will be coming up. You know, it's interesting because of the geography involved in this series. We've grown so used to, over the years, teams winning championships, baseball, football, hockey, whatever, on the road, and then a big crowd greets them at the airport when they come home. Where do you go tonight in Baltimore if they win it? To the bus station? That's how the team came up.
That's right. That's how they're going back. Is there another way?
I don't know.
I-95 and the Beltway 695, I guess.
And then 83, and then...
For the first time in a long time, they've had a World Series where you didn't have to fly between the cities.
Maybe this team, if things stay as they are, will finally get the credit to it.
A name I'd like to bring up, and a name that hasn't been mentioned much throughout this series, is Mr. Hank Peters, the general manager of the Baltimore Orioles, who did such a great job of building this ball club.
Whole organization, how carefully constructed from the inside.
Swinging a miss, and the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
In 15 years while I was there, it was never a one-man vote. It was the scouts, it was the minor league managers, it was the major league managers, the major league coach, with the general manager taking a consensus of opinion and forming this ball club.
Danny Ford strikes out.
There are so many ways to measure an outstanding ball club. One very good index is how they play on the road. The Orioles have won all of their postseason road games after leading the American League in road results in '83. Now that is not easy, my friend. Nobody ever dreamed that they'd have a shot at clinching here, winning 3 straight at Veterans Stadium.
We were talking about Hank Peters. And
there he is.
Former boss, a quiet man, never gets excited. He's had to calm me down a number of times.
1-1 the count on Ripken. 8th inning, 2 out, bases empty, 5-0 Baltimore.
Be interesting if suddenly Cal shot one out of here. Now that Murray's hit 2 out.
Well, he doesn't go many at bats without it.
Good fastball.
Well, it's his first time in a series. Young fella, just 23 years old. If the Orioles can repeat in a year or 2, they'll be expecting the things out of him that they were expecting the things out of Murray this year.
Two and 2 the count. If the Orioles win, it'll be their first world title since 1970. It'll also be the first time the American League has won the World Series since 1978.
But 6 different teams will have won the World Series in the last 6 years. That's happened only one time before. That was from 67 through 72.
Pete Rozelle would love it.
Parody.
Right. Different winner every year. 2 and 2 the count.
Well, we've got 2 New York teams playing in the National Football League in New Jersey, and we seem to have an absolute mediocrity there. Miami creaming the Jets today, and Kansas City now crushing the Giants 38-17 in the 4th quarter.
In the air to right center field, and Pete Rose is moving over, and he makes the catch. So Hernandez silently does a perfect job in relief. Retires the 9 he faces. After 7.5, it's still Orioles 5 and Phillies nothing.
The way some business people spend their time has very little to do with a clock. At Apple, we understand that business as usual isn't anymore. That's why we make the most advanced personal computers in the world. And why soon there'll be just 2 kinds of people.
Hi.
Those who use computers.
Yeah, I'll be home for breakfast.
And those who use apples.
All day long, we're all business. After that, it's a whole new ball game.
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours. and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. The rich, smooth taste of Miller beer is what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life.
Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer. What you have in mind. Welcome, you know you're welcome. Welcome, everybody's welcome. Welcome to Miller time, yours and mine.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Al Michaels, Howard Cosell, Earl Weaver at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. 5-0 Baltimore. Scott McGregor has been in complete command. He has thrown exactly 100 pitches to this point, and 73 of those have been strikes. Sexto Lezcano will pinch hit.
And contusion and all.
The other night he suffered that contusion Friday, attempting to bunt. Little squibber down toward third, fielded by Cruz. He's got a great arm, throws off balance and gets him. 1 pitch and 1 out, and John Shelby, of course, stays in the game. He hit for Bunbury in center field. 1 away. Morgan coming up.
Jumped on the first pitch of this inning.
That is odd, down 5-0.
Yet they think Scotty just might be laying the ball in there because the last thing McGregor wants to do is walk anybody. Both sides of the story.
Sure, that's obviously Philadelphia's theory, even though it's easy to say go up there and take a pitch. He doesn't look like he's about to walk anybody. 69 Orioles hit 146 against the Mets, and the Phillies hitting 196 to this point as Morgan rips it to foul.
69 Orioles I managed, and can you imagine a team with Frank Robinson, Brooks Robinson, Boog Powell hitting under 200 in a series?
Morgan grounds it just there down the right field line and into the corner. Joe will take 2 unless he's sure he can move to third, and he's taking the chance. He's on his way to third, and he's lucky the throw is off the line or he'd have been out.
If he's thrown out, that would have been talked about for a very long time.
And he's fortunate because a relay from Dower that's on the money gets him. But Joe, maybe if nothing else, saying I've got to do this to try to ignite the team.
That's exactly what happened now. Knowing the man, you know that's what was on his mind. And now there's Pete Rose.
There's the base hit. Morgan looks like he knows there's a shot at it. I believe that's Tito Landrum in right field that retrieved the ball and threw it. And the throw's off. It could have been very, if the throw's on, he's out.
He's out.
And that would have been talked about for a long, long time.
You could almost see it, those tension between first and second, and then he turned as he got to second to try to pick up Dave Bristol at third. I wasn't watching Bristol, so I don't know what he did, but it was almost as if it clicked into Morgan. All right, I've got to attempt it. I've got to try it to get everybody stirred up.
Well, this is their last shot. Outside shot, though it may be.
Rose takes low, ball 1. Conceivably, it's Rose's last ever Philly at bat.
That's correct. Rose, Schmidt, Matthews, Perez. They've got the hitters up.
Baltimore has their bullpen up.
That's hit in the air to left field. Should be deep enough to score Morgan. He'll come home. No, he's fell down as he started in at third.
It's not the Philly series.
Oh, boy.
No, there isn't anything that hasn't happened to them.
Good to see it again. Pete had Goodwood on the ball again. It's right at Gary Renicky in left. He started to go. He was going all the way. Has to go back.
And so now it's the big man all year long. And the service he's given this ball club and this town. Now the fans begin to rally, those who understand, and some of them start to applaud Mike Schmidt because this man shouldn't be booed.
Agreed. But it's been that way for Mike ever since he came up with the Phillies in '73. Time call is there's some debris in the outfield that they'll remove. It's been a love-hate relationship with Schmidt. More love than hate, obviously, over the years. But they expected so much of him. He was much heralded when he first came up. He has always struck out a lot. He has been prone to slumps. But he's also given them 10 pretty good years here as well. And he has seen just about everything that can possibly take place in one career, because when he came up with his team, this was a terrible team. So they clear the field, and there's Morgan. And that shot of Joe falling down will be forever embedded in the minds of many as symbolic of what's happened to the Phillies today. 0-1.
The run that they failed to score by Joe Morgan falling down is insignificant at this time. But if there's a rally in the 9th inning by the Phillies, it could become very important.
Schmidt would like to make it all academic and hit one out here. He grounds that one, and it's backhanded by Cruz, who comes up throwing. And the Phillies still haven't scored through 8. To a chorus at the end of 8. 5-0 Baltimore. Back after this message in a word for your local station.
For 15 years, they followed his track. A big lean guy they called Big Mac. He's the leader of the pack.
Let's get him.
McDonald's Great Big Macs. Pure lean beef, special sauce and cheese, pickles and onions.
Big Mac, please.
They're fresh off the grill, 7 stories tall. He's the most wanted of them all. Leader of the pack, Big Mac. McDonald's and you.
Monday, catch those incredible kids and jump high for a steeplechase race that's incredible.
Some people think beauty and elegance are luxuries, but they really serve a purpose in our everyday lives. Having beautiful things around makes you feel proud and happy. Even luxury is necessary once in a while. It makes your hard work and effort worthwhile. Builders of expensive homes know the importance of beauty and luxury in your life. And so do we. The only difference is we make them affordable. Ryan Homes.
Guess who can take you to more places than American, TWA, United, and Delta combined, whose on-time record has improved nearly 40%, and who has rebuilt its entire fleet, adding some of the newest, most technologically advanced equipment in the world. We'll give you one clue. It isn't an airline.
WJZ-TV, Channel 13, Baltimore.
Battles Iowa, whose sole loss was to Illinois. A crucial showdown in the race for the Big Ten title, Saturday.
Here's Ron Reed in to pitch, the 4th Philadelphia pitcher. He'll be facing Murray, Renicky, and Dower in the top of the 9th inning. And when the Phillies come up in the bottom of the 9th, due up from Matthews, Perez, and Maddox. Eddie Murray, 2 homers today. Both from the left side. The one time he came up right-handed against Hernandez, he struck out.
3 quick NFL finals. Rams 27, Falcons 21. What a job Johnny Robinson doing. All there. Denver beat Cincinnati 24-17. And Kansas City shelled the Giants 38-17.
Murray hits it into right field. Base hit. So Eddie Murray, who had 2 hits in the first 4 games, has his 3rd hit of the day. A single to right. That, interestingly enough, that's the first single for the Orioles today. 3 homers and a double, and now the single by Murray.
Freddie, the series is ending too soon. He's getting hot.
Yes, he is.
Gary Renicky struck out in the 6th inning, pinch hitting for Lowenstein, and stayed in the game. 1-0.
Gary hadn't seen a lot of right-handed pitching this year. and definitely a big fella like Reed. We talked about the other day, a sidearm.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. Two and 1.
Well, there he is. Commissioner Bowie Kuhn will be presenting the championship trophy for the last time. His wife Louisa to his right, next to Mrs. Kuhn, Happy Chandler, and
that's foul. 2 and 2.
And next to Happy Chandler, Senator All Inspector of the state of Pennsylvania. I have told you of my feelings about Mr. Kuhn. I have tremendous respect for him, a baseball man through and through, a man of great integrity, and I don't think anything more need be said. The circumstances under which he left his position, still a matter of great controversy.
And I fully echo your sentiments, Howard.
Thank you, sir. There is a man who's done some job.
In the air to deep left center field. There have been a lot of homers in this series, but we won't have one more. Then we came close as Maddox makes the catch against the wall. So Maddox gets a good jump. Renicky becomes the first out here in the 9th inning. And Rich Dower is the batter. Dower 0 for 3 today. It's interesting. All the puzzle parts come through for Baltimore. He gets 3 hits in the World Series, and they all come in one game at opportune times yesterday. And he also made a nice defensive play, starting a double play.
Well, you always hear the words, everybody's chipping in. But if everybody doesn't chip in, you don't win ball games. If they had to wait for Eddie Murray to do what he did today, they wouldn't be ahead 3-1.
Matthews is there to haul in the drive off the bat of Dower. 2 down.
Now that's a critical point, Earl. There are so many aspects of this team that win ball games for you. In those tough earlier games, it was in the long run the superiority of the Baltimore bench plus the Baltimore bullpen that carried them through. 2 aspects there, bench and bullpen. Remember the first pregame show? We discussed all of this with Reggie Jackson, the very points we brought out.
0-1 the count on Todd Cruz. Little half swing grounder toward third. Schmidt will barehand and throws him out. So Baltimore doesn't score in the top of the 9th inning. But McGregor will be going to the mound in the bottom of the 9th inning. Scotty, whose father is watching in a Philadelphia hospital right now, is working on a shutout. He is 3 outs away from giving Baltimore his first World Championship since 1970. Matthews, Perez, and Maddox will be the men coming up for the Philadelphia Phillies at Veterans Stadium at about 20 after 7 Eastern time.
And if I was the manager of the Orioles and sitting in that dugout, which I'm happy I'm not at this particular time, I would really be rooting for the first out of this inning, to get the first hitter out in this inning.
Well, we have 2 teams. Howard talked about the differences, how they were built. Meanwhile, you've got Tippy Martinez and Sammy Stewart throwing just in case. But a couple of teams that were built differently, and also a couple of teams that figure to have Howard very disparate off seasons. Baltimore figures to remain relatively pat, and the Phillies may have a major overhaul.
That relates, Al, and that's exactly right, to what I talked about earlier. The different manner in which these 2 teams were put together. The Phillies scrambling, but efficiently to produce a pennant winner, largely ignited by that man, Pete Rose. But at the same time, Baltimore Baltimore with a homegrown ball club with an idea of what makes a whole team work, Earl, and they have a man for every situation, and they've proved it.
And it showed up especially during this World Series. Of course, in 1979, for the first 4 games, the Baltimore baseball team was able to do the same thing, but Eddie Murray never did get hot in that series, and he did get hot today.
2 home runs for Eddie Murray. He and McGregor, the big heroes to this point. As we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. A lot of folks have given up. There are a lot of empty seats in here right now.
Scotty McGregor's just been outstanding. I can understand it. However, the game's never over till the last man is out. I hate it to say that cliche, but it's so true.
You're echoing Yogi Berra. It's never over till it's over.
Never over till it's over.
Outside to Gary Matthews. 1 ball and no strikes. He checked in time. 2-0. Pete Rose, 42. 201 hits away from Cobb's record as Matthews goes after the pitch and hits it in the air down into the right field corner, where Landrum sprints over and makes the catch. So it's been clearly Baltimore's day.
That was a very difficult catch. You remarked earlier when Ford juggled one but retained it that you run out of room in a hurry in that corner. Look at this.
Very evident right there. Of course, here in Philadelphia, you run out of room in about a 1/10 of a second. Couple of feet of foul territory. He's got to be thinking about the fence. And makes a nice play. Perez takes low, ball 1.
Another point about this ball club and situation players. Landrum with a key home run in the playoffs right there. Don't let a rally get started.
1-1. Carol McGregor. Carol McGregor, Scott's wife. Foul back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gary Maddox waiting next.
Stats of Perez against Scotty McGregor did not hold up today.
No, they didn't. And there are 2 of the former Reds.
To center field. Shelby is there, and the Orioles are an out away. Mike Schmidt, well, we'll talk about Schmidt's series. Glowingly in 80 and 1 for 20 in 83. One end of the spectrum to the other. Here's Maddox. So the Orioles, who lost the first game at home, came back to even the series, and an out away from winning it in Philly. It's a looper foul off to the right. 0-1. That's out of play, and Baltimore is a strike away.
And we should get word on the MVP any second.
The count on Maddox. A liner, and the Orioles are the world champions.
Dempsey has just been named the unanimous most valuable player in this, the 1983 World Series. The pictures you have just seen all spoke for themselves. Reggie Jackson is waiting in the winner's clubhouse for the birds to come in, and there's Rick Dempsey being hugged. And he deserved that vote, Earl Weaver.
person who can rise to the occasion. He did it throughout the series. His defensive work was expected. They didn't steal a base off of him in the '79 World Series, the last time he was in the World Series, but nobody expected the offense they got out of him.
The Baltimore Orioles winning the World Series after losing Game 1. They come back to win the next 4. Scott McGregor pitching the shutout. Eddie Murray, the 2 homers today. Rick Dempsey, a home run. And Joe Altobelli in his first season as the manager. As you look at Al Holland, the Phillies through a lot of adversity winning the pennant, but down they go to the Orioles, and will go to the locker room of the world champions when we come back to Philadelphia in a moment.
Charlie, another IBM typewriter. I know. They're the typewriter secretaries prefer most. Charlie, an IBM display writer. I know. It's the best-selling standalone text processor. Charlie, the IBM Model 60 copier. I know. A lot of performance for a low price. Charlie, if you know so much, how come you're not president of this place? Give me time.
As soon as this mud dries, I figure we can drive right out of here.
The new Big Red 3-wheeler costs so little that you can get one for each of your crew and do a lot of different jobs at the same time. It's the Honda 3-wheeler that comes standard with an electric starter, shaft drive, and reverse.
Maybe we ought to get some of those.
If we had them, we'd be working.
Big Red, only from Honda.
Working?
Chicken goes nice, salads go nice with Reuniti on ice.
Pure and natural Reuniti is the world's best-loved imported wine. And now there's new Reuniti Doro. It's delicious.
Everything's nice with Reuniti on ice. Reuniti, Reuniti.
Tonight.
Codename Black Widow.
Every man she touches dies.
Oh, I'd like to see you.
And Hardcastle and McCormick are next on her list. Tonight, after the World Series.
5-0, Baltimore wins it. They win the World Series. Let's go to the locker room of the Orioles and Reggie Jackson. Reggie.
Well, it's obvious excitement down here. Won a World Series, and there's really nothing like it, that's for sure. We have Commissioner Bowie Kuhn of baseball here to present the World Series trophy, the World Championship trophy, to Mr. Edward Bennett Williams.
Ed, as chairman of the board, I have a very special sense of nostalgia in presenting to you and your skipper, Joe Altobelli, your executive vice president, Hank Peters, the World Series most valuable player, Rick Dempsey, and all of you champions, the World Championship trophy, you've earned it.
Thank you very much, Bowie. I'm so proud of this magnificent band of brothers called the Orioles. They have been so great all year. They came back from adversity. They overcame it. They have character. That's the happiest moment of my life in sports. And I want to thank Joe Altobelli and Hank Peters for the magnificent job that they did. They deserve all the credit with the players for this great accomplishment. I'm very happy to take this great trophy back to Baltimore, to the people who gave us the magnificent support that we had all year long and that contributed so much to our success.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Commissioner. I'd like to, we have the President of the United States here.
We're ready for the President.
Mr. Reagan, Mr. President on the phone wants to talk to you and congratulate you.
Okay, we're ready. Hold on 1 second.
Go ahead. Hello, Mr. President.
Biggest day of my life in baseball. I never expected I'd ever, waiting for Mr. President Reagan to get on the telephone to talk to the Baltimore Championship, the chairman of the board here, Mr. Edward Bennett Williams. We are waiting for President Reagan to come on the line right now. Maybe having a few problems here. There's the champagne, that's for sure. That's a sign of a world championship. Rick Dempsey. Rick Dempsey, while we're waiting for the President of the United States to While we're waiting for the president to get through, Rick, you've been named the most valuable player of the series, and someone told me that you picked the right time to get hot. You haven't been hot in 11 years.
I haven't. I've been here for 11 years. I've never been hot. This is one series I'll remember for a long time, Reg. I know that for a fact I haven't had 2 good hits like that in a series since my first trip into Texas early this year.
The champagne has my eyes burning, that's for sure. Any way that you fellows decided to pitch the Philadelphia Phillies, because you really seem to handle them?
Well, there was really nothing specific. When McGregor goes out there on the mound, you know he's just going to throw his fastball and his changeup the majority of the time, and we just have to play situation and try to stay away, just to keep from getting hurt with a long ball with their power
Rick,
and all.
I got to cut you off.
Okay.
The President of the United States is on the telephone right now with Mr. Bennett Williams.
Hello? Hello, Mr. President. Hello, Mr. President. Yes.
I can't tell you, I've been sitting here and had it all figured out that you would never allow me in the ballpark again.
Listen, I'm just sorry that you missed this game, Mr. President. We have to get you back.
I was watching it on TV, but when I left that first night at the 7th inning and you were ahead, then it turned out wrong. I thought, I'll never get in the ballpark.
Anytime you want to come, we'd love to have you, sir. And I'm sorry that you missed this great series up here in Philadelphia. It was really magnificent baseball.
I was sitting here very excited watching the whole thing on TV.
Well, thank you so much, sir.
All right. I know you've got a lot of others there that can be recognized for a whole lot of matter, but General Manager Peters.
I'd like to have you talk to the most valuable player, Mr. President, Rick Dempsey.
Mr. President. Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Now you can tell the Russians we're having an awful good time over here playing baseball.
We're having more fun than the Phillies were.
Definitely.
Congratulations on being the most valuable player.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Rick. Mr. President, if you have another minute, you ought to say hello to our General Manager, Hank Peters, and Joe Altobelli, who deserve all the credit for this victory today.
Hello, Mr. President. Hank Peters. Hello. Hello. Yes, it sure is. Well, thank you so much. We got a great organization and a great team, and that's why we won this. Good people. Well, we're proud of everyone.
Whatever you want to do, young man.
You knew it was going to be his day. Well, very good. We'll remind him of that. Okay, I'm going to put Joe Altobelli on the line here.
Mr. President, how are you? Yes, we met in May. I think, on the South Lawn when you named the month of May. Right, we had the Little League baseball game. Since that time, I've tried to watch all your old movies. It's awful nice. It's awfully nice for you to call. It's really tough to hear you, Mr. President, but it's terribly nice that you would call us on such a big day for us. We really appreciate it. I'll give you the commissioner, Mr. Burriquillo. Hold on.
Mr. President, you're really great to call, and we appreciate it a lot. Well, it's really been your coming to the game in Baltimore and following all this has been a thrill for us all, and I want to thank you on behalf of all of us in baseball, sir. Well, we thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you, sir. Very good. Goodbye.
Be there in about an hour.
Thank you very much. We'd like to apologize for our audio problems, and we're going to go over to the Philly locker room to see what's going on over there with Ted Bryant.
Thank you very much, Reggie. It is never easy to work the locker room of the runner-ups because there's so much disappointment here. But this club really fought to get into this series, and I think there's a lot to be proud of. When this man right here, the manager Paul Owens, took over at midseason, they were around 500, rallied, got very hot in September, came in, won the National League from the Dodgers in the series, and came in here, won the first game here. And a couple of pitcher duels that could have gone either way, and then the wheels came off. Quite frankly, the club didn't play up to your expectations today, I know.
Well, we didn't today, but I thought it's been a good series, about the way I thought it would go. And it was tight all the way. A key hit here or there could have turned the third and fourth game around, and we could still be playing. But I'm proud of my team now. They battled back with a lot of adversity. They played well. They played together. And I know that the series is 4-1, but I think we played a lot better than that.
Paul, were you second-guessing yourself at all about leaving Hudson in so long?
No, he threw. There's 2 home run balls. He got 2 up and up, and there's not much you can do. You don't give him much time to think on those. But he pitched well, and he made a couple bad pitches to a real good hitter, and that's always happened. We didn't do anything with the bats today. We haven't for 2 or 3 days, so I think that was a big difference in the series altogether. But I'd like to congratulate Joe and Hank Peters and the Baltimore club. They're a fine club, well managed, and it's a good sound ball club. And, I just wish them luck.
Congratulations to you. It's been a fine season. You're a class individual, and thanks for being so patient and coming over to talk with us in this very tough situation.
Well, my pleasure.
Okay, Paul Owens. We'll have more from the locker rooms right after these messages, so stay with us.
How can a guy 5'9" have an unfair advantage over these guys? I use the Gillette Atra razor. They don't. It's got the advantage of a pivoting head. Atra is better than twin-blade razors that don't pivot. See? They don't always stay in my beard, but my Atra pivots to keep both blades on my beard longer. So I get a better shave, close, comfortable.
Get the Gillette Atra and get the Atra advantage.
Sometimes a little advantage goes a long way.
Each year, Ryder buys thousands of new trucks to rent here and leave there.
Rental truck, huh? What's the matter? Clutch burn out?
Oh, no, it's an automatic.
Oh, the power steering going, huh?
Oh, no, it's a new truck.
Well, what's wrong?
Do you have a restroom?
Restroom?
So rent a new truck from Ryder and save yourself a lot of headaches.
What was that?
Another one of them new Ryder trucks.
Stop!
Newer trucks make Ryder the best truck money can rent.
The Olympians, that tough breed of steel-belted radials from Kmart. Warranted to go the distance. Made by Uniroyal, Olympian's aggressive European all-season tread takes every grueling mile in stride. Olympians, warranted to go the distance. And now you can get the Olympian 2 with its 45,000-mile wear-out warranty at a very generous sale price, as low as $37. Olympian 2 by Uniroyal. More proof. We've got it, and we've got it good.
Hate it when she's right. Look at her sleeping. We both have colds. She said we need NyQuil at nighttime, sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, so we can rest medicine, darling. I said I'll stick with my time capsules. I'm still coughing, aching, feverish, wide awake. Sleeping Beauty took NyQuil. When she's right, she's right.
NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever, so you can rest medicine.
They are throwing champagne all over the clubhouse, Joe Altobelli. Yes. Tell me the feeling. It's the same old question, but please tell me.
Well, you have to know it, Reg. You've been there before. It's a super feeling. I don't really think you get the impact until it's really over and you got time to sit down and really absorb all the things that happened to you through the course of the year. The greatest feeling is when you've accomplished everything that you set out to do in spring training, and of course, winning the World Series kind of proves that to you, and it's got to be the best feeling in the world when you're a baseball person.
There's nothing like it. Let's go back to Al Michael and go enjoy yourself, Joe.
Thanks very much, Reg.
All right, Reggie, and there's no question about it, gentlemen. As we look at the World Series, they did it convincingly and thoroughly dominated and very much deserve, obviously, the World Championship.
You're right. I just want to say this to you, my friend. Lake Placid was no fluke. You're a very great young performer, and ABC is very proud of you.
Very kind, thank you.
And what a joy to have this man. I'm just sorry you couldn't have shared in that clubhouse.
I didn't deserve it. The Orioles deserve all the credit because they did the work all year.
So the Baltimore Orioles won it. The 1983 World Champions. Game 5 of the 1983 World Series has been brought to you by Chevrolet, official U.S. cars and trucks of the 14th Olympic Winter Games. Chevrolet and you taking charge. By Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of the day. Welcome to Miller Time. By New Skull Bandits, for tobacco pleasure without lighting up. It's a pouch instead of a puff. And by the Bell Yellow Pages, a complete source of buying information for products and services. The Orioles win it over the Phillies in 5. A reminder to join us tomorrow 9 Eastern time for Monday Night Football. The Washington Redskins take on the Green Bay Packers. Blimp provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, and travel arrangements made through promotional fee paid by United Airlines, the official airline of the LA Olympic Games and proud sponsor of the United States Olympic team. And as we say goodbye from Philadelphia, we thank these people for their great work this week.
Jennings.
Cottonelle is cottony soft.
We're asking Cottonelle users why they prefer Cottonelle bathroom tissue.
Cottonelle, that's what it means. It's soft like cotton.
I've tried others. And then I went to Cottonelle, and it was good. It was cottony soft, and I liked it.
Cottonelle is cottony soft.
Cottonelle bathroom tissue. Of course it isn't cotton, but it is cottony soft.
Cottonelle is really soft. I like it. And I hope they never stop making it.
Now's the time. You've got 48 hours to save a pretty penny at Acme's half-price Maybelline sale. This Monday and Tuesday only, all Maybelline cosmetics are half price. Everything for your eyes, from eyebrow pencils to mascara. Makeup for your face, including blush, powder, and lipstick. Manicure, nail polish, too, your favorite colors. All half price this Monday and Tuesday. So stock up while supplies last. The 48-hour Maybelline sale at Acme, your store for low prices. Tell a friend.
Congratulations, world champion Orioles, from your Orioles station.
Orioles 83, the World Series, is brought to you by Budweiser Light. The best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it. By Merit Commercial Savings and Loan, we're not afraid to be first. By Frankel Cadillac, Baltimore's #1 Cadillac dealer. And by Metro Auto Parts, not the biggest, only the best.
Good evening and welcome to our World Series special. I'm John Saunders along with Scott Garceau, as tonight we join in with the multitude in celebrating the Orioles World Championship.
Well, John, I guess by now everybody knows that the Birds wrapped up the title yesterday in Philadelphia with a 5-0 shutout, setting off a celebration that just now is beginning to settle down. Tonight we'll take a look back at the last week in Oriole baseball and savor the sweet taste of a championship season one more time.
The Orioles went on the road and never lost one in enemy territory, and yesterday they wrapped it all up at Veterans Stadium with a bit of poetic justice. Scott McGregor going the distance. Now, we all recall that Scott McGregor had given up just 3 earned runs in 2 playoff games. He lost both those games, so very fitting for him to wrap up the championships. Memories of 1979 are all washed away with the victory, and this time it will be the Phillies who'll have to think about how the World Series championship got away. For now, it was time for the Orioles to wrap in the glory of their victory. Let's go. Hey, let's Who got it? What the hell are you talking about? 9 years for this. All right. I waited 13.
You really had holy cow.
Had to sum up the year and talk about these bunch of nuts. What would you say?
Probably outstanding, amazing. You know, the coup de guerre, is that a French word?
Coup de grace.
Oh, whatever. Guerre means war, I think.
That's right.
Okay, well, we'll get the grass.
I tell you, this year it was no doubt in my mind that we weren't going to win today. I mean, it's been so positive around here, and it's something, you know, like you say, we came into their home park and just took 3, and it was like we came here and we weren't satisfied with 2. It was like we were going around saying that we didn't want to put the uniform on Monday.
Right. Okay, oh, I'm sorry. Did you think it was fair that the pitchers kept throwing the balls at Dempsey's bat?
I think it was fair. I don't know. I must have changed rules somewhere. Somebody mistake me for somebody else for once, but I don't know. I'm glad that I was able to contribute. It just seemed like, I don't know, the batter's box was a little different. Something was a little bit different because I never expected I'd get the biggest hits, you know, or end up being the MVP of this ball club. We got so many guys that are deserving of that award, and I was just happy that I was chosen.
All the years in baseball have been fun. The biggest blessing has been with the Orioles for 7 years that I've made a lot of friends, and that's the most important thing. This will come and go. 2 weeks from now, we'll have bills to pay and start getting back in shape again, and this stuff comes and goes, but your family and the Lord and things like that will be with you forever, and they're the most important.
We all have a certain role, like a Lowenstein, a Benny Alla, and all those kind of type of players, platoon players, and we all do the job well, and it was just a matter of getting playing time and getting the opportunity to contribute to a ball club, and we just did it.
I probably will go cry somewhere here very soon. I haven't had time to even I've hugged some of the guys. I got to hug a bunch of them. John, I don't think that you could ever pitch any better than these kids did in the last 8 ball games that we played.
You hit the home run to win the ALCS. Which feels better?
This one, this definitely. You know, there's nothing like winning, and this won it all. And to be world champions, you know, we did it last year. I was not a part, but I felt like, you know, I contributed a little bit throughout the season. And now to be a participant in the ALC and then also in the World Series, it's going to take a while for everything to sink in and realize just what has taken place here in Philadelphia.
Every year I've been here, we've had 25 guys in the club that have gotten along very well. We played together very well, and we've always won with 25 guys. We haven't won with 9, 10, or 15 guys. So I think the biggest thing is that we get along very well, and it's a team effort.
Each guy does his own little part. You know, maybe I didn't get no hits, but I tried to play my best defense, you know. And, you know, other guys do the hitting. So if one guy does one thing and the other guy does something else, and it's great. That's how we win. We've done it all year. Now, you know, we proved that we're winners. We're number 1.
There you go.
Wonderful.
Had to get Ray back. That was a lot of fun. And after they cleared out the locker room, they loaded up the buses and came home to a waiting mob at Memorial Stadium. A crowd of some 40,000 on hand in the midnight hour to cheer for their favorite Oriole and hear a brief word from the heroes themselves. The crowd and team cleared out pretty quickly, but it would not be long before they would gather once again.
A crowd as high as 100,000 gathered downtown at noon today to honor the World Series champs. The team members were just mobbed by the fans from all ages as they lined the streets. A tremendous reception for the baseball champions of the world. And there's the MVP, Rick Dempsey.
A happy homecoming indeed for the Orioles, but it was not easy getting there, as we will see when we come back to review the '83 World Series, game by game. Stay with us.
Early in the year, these guys were down here scouting the kids. Now they're back looking for help.
Bring out your best Budweiser Light. Bring out your best Budweiser Light.
The best has a taste all its own.
Hey, Bob, you got a minute?
Enjoy it.
Budweiser Light.
It seems the bigger a bank gets, the slower it gets.
Let's wait. Take your time.
But it's your time they're taking, so take your money to Merit. They'll give you the high interest and services you need now. And that gives the big bank something to think about.
I know. Let's wait for Merit to do it first. Quick thinking, Carruthers.
Merit Commercial Savings and Loan. We're not afraid to be first.
Frankel Cadillac, Baltimore's #1 Cadillac dealer, and Baltimore's only exclusive Cadillac dealer who outsells, outdelivers, and who outservices the competition, is having an exciting '84 Cadillac sale that puts you behind the wheel of the most luxurious, fuel-efficient Cadillac ever created. During this Frankel Cadillac sale, our commitment to beat any deal in town will be proven again and again. Frankel Cadillac. See 'em soon.
Metro Auto Parts is your complete headquarters for all your automotive needs. Metro Auto has the largest selection of quality parts in the area and a knowledgeable sales staff ready to help you with values like these. Fram oil filters, sale priced at $259. 42-month Deca batteries, only $29.95. Tune up with Autolite spark plugs, value priced at Metro. Keep your car looking like new with Turtle Minute Wax, only $4.49. Visit Metro Auto Parts in Rosedale, Aberdeen, and Elkton. Metro Auto, not the biggest, only the best.
The Orioles started the best-of-7 series the same way they did the American League Championship Series, losing the opening game at home.
Now, Mike Boddicker turned it around in Game 2, and from there it was a clean sweep in Philly. Jack Dawson takes us through the highlights of the '83 World Series.
The '83 series began on a rainy Tuesday night at Memorial Stadium. Scott McGregor getting the call in Game 1 against the Phillies' John Denny. Outfielder Jim Dwyer had the home crowd of 52,000 plus on their feet early when he lifted this home run to right to give the O's a 1-0 lead. But that one wouldn't hold up, as the Phillies showed they could play long ball too. In the 8th, Gary Maddox drove another one out into the left field seats, and the Phillies had a 2-1 lead. Al Holland came on to finish up, and when it ended, the Phillies and John Denny had a 1-0 lead.
He was tough. When I remember him in Cleveland, I guess I only saw him a couple of starts. He was the same way. He had good control on his fastball. He mixed his pitches well and throws that big overhand curveball, and it breaks big. He takes some off, puts some on. You can never really get a good beat on the breaking ball. Even when you're looking for it, you really can't hit it that well. He was just the same way as I can remember him. Very, very tough.
Game 2 in Baltimore was rookie night. The O's' Mike Boddicker against the Phils' Charles Hudson. And the Phillies had a 1-0 lead until this. John Lowenstein in the bottom of the 5th, out of the park, tie game. Then Rick Dempsey with his extra base magic to the opposite field, scoring Rich Dower, 2-1 Orioles. Boddicker helped his own cause with a sacrifice fly and continued his mastery on the mound, going the distance to square the series at a game apiece, as this one went into the books as a 4-1 Orioles win.
I felt like I had complete command of the game. You know, all the way through it, I wasn't worried the whole game. So, I guess that you could say I felt like I had command of it.
For Game 3, a change of scene. Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The O's send Mike Flanagan to the mound. The Phillies counter with lefty. Early power from the Phillies, homers by Gary Matthews and Joe Morgan, gave them a 2-0 lead after 5. But the Orioles began to chip away. A Dan Ford homer made it a 2-1 game in the 6th. Jim Palmer came on in relief and pitched 2 innings of shutout ball. And Sammy Stewart followed him with 2 innings of no-hit, no-run ball. In the 7th, the Orioles scored twice, Benny Ayala scoring the winning run on an error by shortstop Ivan de Jesus. Tippy Martinez finished up on the mound, and the Birds went up 2-1 in the best-of-7 showdown.
You beat Carlton here in Philadelphia, and, you know, I guess it's the ace of their pitching staff, so it has to really, you know, give us some credibility and give us some momentum going into tomorrow's game.
Game 4, a beautiful sun-filled afternoon at Veterans Stadium, and the sun was shining on the Orioles. A 2-0 lead in the top of the 4th on Rich Dower's double to the opposite field. The Phillies rallied, however, and when Pete Rose doubled to drive in John Denny, the Phils had a 3-2 lead, and their hometown fans had something to cheer about. But the Orioles bounced back. Sammy Stewart came on to pitch 2 1/3 innings of shutout ball, allowing only 1 hit while the offense went to work. A bases-loaded walk tied the game, and then pinch hitter John Shelby drove Gary Matthews to the wall. A leaping catch saved extra bases, but Rich Dower scored on the sacrifice, and it was 4-3 O's. More from Dower in the 7th. A single to center to score Dwyer, and the Birds had a 5-3 lead with 2 innings to go. Again, the call went to Tippy Martinez for the final 1 2/3 innings. Nervous when he gave up 1 run in the 9th, but with 2 out, he got Joe Morgan to line to second, and the Orioles had the game 5-4 and a 3-1 edge in the series.
Strategy is only as good as the club you have that you're managing will allow you to be, I think. You can use all the strategy in the world. If you don't have guys that can execute the strategies you're after or the strategies that might be involved, it doesn't mean anything.
That set the stage for Sunday afternoon in the vet, Game 5, Scott McGregor back on the mound as the Orioles tried to end it in Philly. Second inning, Eddie Murray, like a sleeping bear rising from a snooze, lifted this shot deep to right.
Murray drills it to deep right field, and the one thing about Murray is when he breaks out of a slump, he really does it.
But he certainly got all of that one. You could see by his demeanor today.
An inning later, Rick Dempsey went deep to left, and just like that, it was 2-0 O's. More of a good thing in the 4th. Eddie Murray again, and this one took dead aim on the scoreboard in left center, get the champagne on ice. And with Scott McGregor still in control on the mound, the final curtain came down on a championship '83 season.
A liner, and the Orioles are the world champions.
You know, you really cannot say enough about the Orioles pitching staff. A 5-game series, they only allowed 9 runs to cross the plate, and they weren't all earned.
1.60. The thing I think one of the things I'll remember most about this series is guys like Mike Schmidt struggling day after day, just trying to get a base hit. Here's a great power hitter, and he had 1 hit, and they sawed off the bat in his hand. We think about Tippy as the stopper, 2 saves, but how about Sammy Stewart, a guy who struggled the first half of the season, really turned it around. Sammy was just awesome, and Joe Altobelli having that right-hander and left-hander. He didn't have to use Tim Stoddard, who had also been pitching pretty well, but Stoddard and Martinez can't say enough about those guys.
We talked with Ray Miller after it was all over, and Ray said we had these guys scouted very well, and we told them what the pitchers should do when they go out there, and they just went out there and did it. But a real tribute to Ray and the job he's done with
I think so. Another thing about Ray Miller, he was a strong candidate for a managerial job last year. I don't think he's necessarily looking for one, but the way the Oriole pitchers went through that World Series, he might have his phone ringing.
That's right. I'd give him a call, that's for sure. It's certainly a really nice way to finish it up. Scott McGregor getting his first postseason victory in the finale, Poetic Justice. Scott Garceau and I will be back in a moment to talk more about the Orioles championship. Stay with us.
It seems the bigger a bank gets, the slower it gets.
Let's wait. Take your time.
But it's your time they're taking, so take your money to Merit. They'll give you the high interest and services you need now. And that gives the big bank something to think about.
I know. Let's wait for Merit to do it first. Quick thinking, Carruthers.
Merit Commercial Savings and Loan. We're not afraid.
Metro Auto Parts is your complete headquarters for all your automotive needs. Metro Auto has the largest selection of quality parts in the area and a knowledgeable sales staff ready to help you with values like these. GM, Ford, and Chrysler voltage regulators, only $7.99. Convenient drive-on ramps, $13.77. Fram air filters, a low $2.99. Barado floor mats, set of 4, only $7.99. And big savings on brake pads and shoes. Visit Metro Auto Parts in Rosedale, Aberdeen, and Elkton. Metro Auto, not the biggest, only the best.
Frankel Cadillac, Baltimore's #1 Cadillac dealer, and Baltimore's only exclusive Cadillac dealer who outsells, outdelivers, and who outservices the competition, is having an exciting '84 Cadillac sale that puts you behind the wheel of the most luxurious, fuel-efficient Cadillac ever created. During this Frankel Cadillac sale, our commitment to beat any deal in town will be proven again and again. Frankel Cadillac. See 'em soon.
Bring out your best.
I wasn't drafted till the 7th round. They don't even know my name.
Bring out your best. Budweiser Light. Bring out your best. Budweiser Light. Bring out your best.
The best.
Croder, huh?
It has a taste all its own. Enjoy it.
You know, one of the winning factors on this Oriole team, and we've talked about it all year long, is the fact that, of course, they have the Ripkins and the Murrays, who you know are going to do it day in and day out, but you've got guys who come off the bench,